game. Ohio State's best damn band in the land toots its own horn. The football team getting a final send-off in a skull session at St. John Arena. The drumbeat of Buckeye football then moves into Ohio Stadium with a pep in its step, culminating in the traditional dotting of the I in Script, Ohio. And on that note, it is time for ESPN College Football presented by Nokia as the Ohio State Buckeyes make their way onto the field. The horseshoe is sold out, over 100,000 strong. They have come to watch these Buckeyes, hoping that they could stay in the Big Ten race. Today, it is the Illinois Fighting Illini who will test the 12th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Alongside Andre Ware, I am Eric Collins. Heather Mitz will be alongside in just a couple of moments. Well, the people here in Columbus, they really believe that the Buckeyes have a fantastic opportunity at winning the Big Ten title this year, and their task is clear. Win out, win the final 3 games, and they will at least have a share of the Big Ten title. Now, that being said, it is a fantastic opportunity for the Buckeyes because they are red hot right now on offense. Yeah, it comes in the form of threes for this Ohio State football team coming into today's game riding a 3-game winning streak. You look at it, and part of the reason is their ability to run and throw with consistency on the ground. Antonio Pittman has been nothing short of magical. Last week, a career-high 186-yard performance against a good Minnesota football team, and finally getting himself into the end zone with 2 touchdown runs. He's run for 100 yards in 3 consecutive weeks. Through the air, Troy Smith has been a model of consistency, leading the Big Ten in pass efficiency. 3 consecutive 200-yard passing performances in a row. In those 3 games, 708 yards, 7 touchdowns, and the number I like the most, only 1 interception. Not bad at all. Not Andre Ware type numbers. Well, for Illinois, they have had some ups and downs, and this is the first year under head coach Ron Zook. But one of the real bright spots over the last couple of weeks has been the play of junior quarterback Tim Brasic. Yeah, he's a guy that provides the run and the pass for the Illini offense. Last week had some magical numbers of his own. 277 yards, a career high for him through the air. 116 yards, an Illini quarterback rushing record. He'll have to have a near-perfect performance today, though, against a good, sound Ohio State defense. Brasic and the Illinois Fighting Illini trying to catch magic in a bottle. It's Illinois taking on the 12th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes here in Columbus.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Allstate. Are you in good hands? And American Chemistry, essential to living. Learn more at americanchemistry.com.
All right, they will kick off in the shoe in just a few moments. Illinois and Ohio State. Reese Davis along with Lou Holtz and Mark May. Let's run through some Big Ten scores. It's been an exciting day in the Big Ten. You know, Indiana gave Minnesota trouble for a while, with the Gophers steamrolling at the end. They become bowl eligible. Gary Russell going for a $185 and 3 touchdowns. And what has happened to Michigan State? Purdue getting its first conference victory.
Unbelievable. Michigan State's one of those teams with that spread offense and Drew Stanton running it. They just couldn't put enough points on the board against Purdue, but this is a team that was hot early in the season.
Hey, Michigan State has to win at Minnesota and beat Penn State to go to a bowl. One of them they need to win. Texas drilling Baylor 55-0 early in the 4th quarter. Baylor's defense had played well, but no match for Texas thus far. And Tennessee and Notre Dame. Good start for the Fighting Irish, 14-3, Lou.
Great catch by Stovall.
Stovall made a great touchdown catch. Tennessee still struggling on offense. Let's go back to Columbus now.
Thank you so much, Reese. We are here at Ohio Stadium, the capital city of Ohio, Columbus, as the Illinois Fighting Illini take on the 12th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. And this game has very special meaning to the new head coach for Illinois, Ron Zook. With more on that, let's go down to the 3rd member of our team, Heather Mitz.
Well, thanks, Eric. That's because this is a homecoming of sorts for Illinois coach Ron Zook. That's because he's from Loudonville, Ohio, and has 90 family and friends in attendance today. Additionally, they will be wearing number 17 replica jerseys from his high school days at Loudonville when he was a quarterback. Now, the last time that Coach Zook was coach here was in 1988 through 1990 when he was assistant for the Buckeyes. Ironically, Ohio State never beat Illinois during that time, and he's hoping to keep that streak alive today.
Thank you much, Heather. And yeah, Ron Zook, he was under John Cooper for 3 years, defensive backfield coach, and all 3 years Illinois defeated Ohio State. That was a streak of 5 consecutive wins for the Illini against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, 6 out of the last 8 times they played in this stadium, Illini have walked out of here winners. So hey, this is why you play it between the white lines and you let it be decided on the field.
And Jim Tressel knows firsthand, now in his 5th season at Ohio State. In 2001, he lost here at home against the Fighting Illini, at that point coached by Ron Turner. So he is just 1-1 in his career against Illinois. He knows that the Fighting Illini can come up and bite at any time. It is an absolutely gorgeous November day here in Columbus, Ohio. 70-degree temperatures here at kickoff, partly cloudy skies, wind possibly a factor at 14 miles per hour.
Good football afternoon is what all that boils down to. It is near perfect, and I tell you what, you couldn't ask for a better afternoon to play football.
On the line, the Illinois Trophy. In between these two teams, it is actually a wooden turtle. We will talk more about that as the game progresses. The 92nd meeting up between these two schools has been dominated for the most part by Ohio State. But recently, Illinois, they have battled, winning 2 of the last 4 games, including one of them here in Columbus in 2001. Last time they met was 2002. Ohio State won, but they won it in a game that went to overtime, so it was not easy for them in their national championship season. Josh Houston kicks off. Illinois will field it. Here Thomas back to the end zone, takes a knee, and that is now 9 consecutive touchbacks on kickoffs for Josh Houston, dating back to last week's game against Minnesota. For the Fighting Illini, their starting quarterback is Tim Brasic. And Tim Brasic is from the northwest suburbs of Chicago. He has really come on as of late. Yeah, you know, he's a kid that's not used to all the losing that's been going on for this Illini football team. He was 22-2 as a starter in high school, threw for over 4,600 yards and 58 touchdown passes. So that kid knows how to win. It's just a matter of time for him and the Illini before they get things turned around. Illini start out with a spread offense. 4 receivers in the game. 2 to the right, 2 to the left of Brasic. Shotgun. Has time. Moves out of the pocket. Passes low, but complete. Gets it out to Derek McPherson, true freshman. It's a completion, but they actually lose a yard. Take a look at today's Nivea for Men's starting lineups. E.B. Halsey and Jason Davis, the backfield. DeJuan Warren, Kyle Hudson, the 2 receivers. And Melvin Bryant doesn't get much use in the passing game. He's the tight end. Offensive line has been up and down. Simmons, O'Donnell, Maddox, Ryan, and Ryan McDonald are the starting 5 in front of Brasic. They will have a difficult task going against a very good Ohio State defense.
They got an uncovered receiver right out here. Brasic can just raise up and take 5 yards.
He gives it a try again out to McPherson. Doesn't get that 5 yards, but gets about 3. Defensively, Ohio State, they were the 13th ranked defense in the entire country. They give up an average of 16 points per game. It's Patterson, Green, Pitcock, and the ever-improving Mike Kudla up front. Linebackers, they get so much pub and they deserve it. Carpenter, Schlegel, and Hawk. And in the defensive backfield, well, they had some troubles there last week. Yabodi and Jenkins are the corners. Sally and Whitner are the safeties. Yabodi really had difficult times against the Golden Gophers last week. He will need to try and bounce back this week.
Yeah, got beat a couple of times deep against good Minnesota football team.
3rd down, and Brasic runs well, but he's tripped up. That's saved a 1st down. Quinn Pitcock grabbed him by the shoe tops and saves a 1st down.
Boy, what a fantastic tackle here to save a 1st down, because we talked about the ability of Tim Brasic to run, but right there, right around just enough of the shoe, and Brasic doesn't even see him. That's a good hustle play by a defensive lineman. Usually you get those out of the defensive backs or linebackers, but a big defensive lineman at 295 pounds making a fantastic play.
Steve Weatherford kicks a line drive that's going to go out of bounds. Didn't want to tangle with Ted Ginn Jr. or Santonio Holmes, the 2 electric returners for Ohio State. Call it a punt of 32 yards with no return. And there is Troy Smith. Smith out of Cleveland, Ohio. Jr. with another year of eligibility. His brother played here. He was a big offensive guard, 300-pounder.
Yeah, we talked about it in the open. It's just been on a magical run the last 3 weeks for Ohio State, throwing for 708 yards, 7 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. That to me says that he's reading things and he is in some kind of rhythm as a quarterback.
Antonio Pittman in the backfield with him. He gets the carry, and Pittman struggles forward for a couple of yards. Give him 3. Take a look at the Ohio State offensive lineups, brought to you by Nivea for Men. We just saw Pittman joined in the backfield with his fullback, Stan White Jr. Holmes and Ginn, 2 of the best receivers in the entire country. Marcel Frost is getting the start for the 2nd consecutive week at tight end. Up front, they have been dominant at times this year. Dadish, Sims, Mangold is fantastic at center with Downing and Boone on the right side. Santonio Holmes, talk about consistent.
Yeah.
Each of the last 26 games, he's had at least 2 receptions. That's a pretty darn good streak. Pittman picks up a couple. It'll bring down a 3rd down and 4.
Yep.
Illinois defensively, they have had troubles all year long, ranked 114th against the run. Walker, Norwell, Matha, the lone senior, and then Sherrod Williams, a freshman. Those are the big boys up front. Linebackers, it's Lehman, Britt Miller, and Sam Carson. And in the secondary, Alan Ball and Sharif Abdullah are your 2 corners, with Mitchell the leading tackler on the team at 1 safety. Justin Harrison is the starting free safety. 4 receivers in the game on 3rd down and 4. Smith, quick slant route, throws it behind Anthony Gonzalez. Incomplete.
A fantastic start in this football game for the Illini defense. We talked about all that success that Ohio State's had offensively and their momentum that they've been building on for the past 3 weeks. You come into the Horseshoe, sold-out, hostile environment, and you stop them on the very first possession. That's big for a young defensive unit in terms of building their confidence for the remainder of this football game.
Each team goes 3 and out on their first offensive possession. A.J. Trapasso kicking deep to E.B. Halsey. Halsey calls for the fair catch and makes it on the 24-yard line. That is where the Illini will take over for their 2nd offensive series. Time to take a timeout here at Ohio Stadium. We're scoreless, just getting started. Welcome back, everyone, to Big Ten football. Illinois and Ohio State getting it on here in Columbus, Ohio, and the Big Ten continues to get just wackier and wackier.
That's right.
Just moments ago, Northwestern, how about that for a comeback against the Iowa Hawkeyes? Northwestern now improves to 4-2 in conference play. Iowa falls to 3-3. They give it to Pierre Thomas on the end around. Flag flies. Thomas, with some wheels, loses the football, knocked away from behind him. There's a mad dash for Jason Davis of Illinois, lands on it. But we're going to have to sort out this penalty situation.
Yeah, it's right in that area of holding. A couple of big offensive linemen.
Holding on the offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
Martin O'Donnell, he pulled around and just right out in front. I tell you what, they had a heck of a play going. They don't hold this. That's a huge play for Illinois early in this football game.
Would have been a gain of 33, and that obviously has Ron Zook a little bit upset.
Yeah, you see it right there. If you pause it, right there, you see the outside hand, the left hand just gets enough of the jersey to draw the officials' attention.
Martin O'Donnell didn't play a week ago. He had a bad ankle, so missed the contest against Wisconsin, was replaced by Ben Amundsen.
Yeah.
They think he's at least close enough to 100%, so he's going to give it a go against the Buckeyes.
This is where you don't want to make a mistake on the road. Deep inside your own 20-yard line, you have to take care of the football.
E.B. Halsey next to Brasic in the backfield. Here comes the blitz. A.J. Hawk grabs him and throws him down. And they're going to say he's just inside the 1.
Well, they bring A.J. Hawk on a delayed blitz, and it wasn't a whole lot of delay to it once he got a full head of steam going up the field, and it was just he and Tim Brasic. You'll see it right here. There's the twist right there. Just free. Nobody picks him up. At that point, you got to get rid of the football. Looked like E.B. Halsey should have been the guy to pick him up, but he takes the outside rusher, Bobby Carpenter, and then A.J. Hawk comes absolutely free up the middle.
They say when he was going down, he was at the 1-yard line. So it's no safety, but a whole lot of real estate in front of E.B. Halsey. Halsey actually picks up a good chunk. Actually, we're going to call it Pierre Thomas with his first carry, and he gets it out close to the 10-yard line. Well, the Big Ten continues to just be a wild ride.
You got Penn State there on top, Wisconsin, and Penn State getting it on today. So it's going to get even more interesting. And Northwestern with a win, a big win at basically eliminating Iowa from the Big Ten race.
Anthony Schlegel looking across the line of scrimmage against Brasic. On a 3rd down at 21, they need to get out to about the 34-yard line.
Just some positive yards here would be good and take care of the football.
Just get the play off. Spit it out left side. Pass is complete to DeJuan Warren. Gain of 6, but they're going to have to bring the punt team on.
I like the play call, and I'll tell you why. It's out and away from the defense, out along the edges where you can't have a tipped football or an interception in the middle of the field. Take care of the football, get your punter a little more room to work with. I really like the call by Mike Locksley, the offensive coordinator for the Illini.
Another 3 and out for Illinois. Back deep, Ted Ginn Jr. and Santonio Holmes. And this punt is a beauty. Deep. Ginn Jr. fields it inside the 15. Returned to kickoff for a touchdown a week ago. This time, nice positive return. Gets it out close to the 35-yard line. That is where Ohio State will start. But not before a 66-yard punt is returned 20 yards by Ginn.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Nokia. It's more than just a phone. It's your life in there. Nokia. And in part by Hummer. Check out the new H3. Hummer, like nothing else.
Olson Hall is your backdrop right here in the Ohio State campus. Ohio State and Illinois scoreless midway through the quarter. As Steve Weatherford, how about that for a punt? 66 yards.
He boomed it.
Equaling his season high. Troy Smith wants to throw on 1st down, wants a bundle. Nobody home. Looking for Santonio Holmes, and it's incomplete.
Well, we just talked to Eric about giving the punter some room. When you have a weapon like Steve Weatherford, you just want to give him a little room. And look at this punt. I mean, the trajectory, everything, just gets all of it. 66 yards, and that's how you take a guy like Ted Ginn Jr. out of the return game. You hit punts like that, and it's going to be a long afternoon for their punt return team. You give your team, the cover team, enough room and time to get down there and cover those punts. What a big weapon for Steve Weatherford.
Coaching staff thinks that Weatherford may be their best pro prospect. Kicking it out left side. Antonio Pittman picks up good yards on 2nd down. It'll bring up a 3rd down and manageable. Tonight, ESPN has a showdown of 2 of the nation's top 5 teams. It's a doozy. The 5th-ranked Miami Hurricanes traveling to Blacksburg, Virginia to take on the 3rd-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. College football primetime presented by Polaroid on ESPN Saturday at 7:45 Eastern.
I'll tell you what, I will be tuned into that one myself. I promise you.
We've seen both those teams in the last month. Your thoughts?
I tell you what, last week Miami started a little slow, but they had the week off. 2nd half, they look like world beaters. Virginia Tech at home is as tough as there is in the country, a tougher place to go and play. So, boy, I look forward to that one.
Flags fly. Santonio Holmes was held on his way to that slant pattern.
Well, Alan Ball's going to get called for the pass interference, making a start for the injured Charles Bailey at that corner position. But he's probably their best cover corner. They like him a lot. Junior out of Detroit, Michigan.
Be a 1st down. Pass interference. Defense. Number 18. Spot foul. Automatic. 1st down.
You see it here, just trying to get inside position. Santonio Holmes on a slant route. Right there, he's got good position, Alan Ball. If you just don't grab the jersey, it's the left hand that gets the call. The kid comes from an extremely athletic family. His sister Tracy ran track at SMU. She still holds the Detroit, Michigan state record in the 200 and 400 meters.
Not bad. First down for either team, and it comes via the penalty. Troy Smith under center. Looking around, and somebody flinched. Flags fly, and Illinois is pointing towards Ohio State.
False start. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
T.J. Downing, junior from Canton, Ohio, called for that infraction.
You'll see him jump just enough right there to get the attention, draw the attention of the official. He started every game this year after missing just one a year ago. So you talk about a consistent guy who's going to be in the lineup for you. Just got to keep him on sides. Motor's probably running early here in this ball game.
Ted Ginn now is lined up as the quarterback and out of the shotgun. Takes the direct snap, and he's got room left side, brought down from behind. But he gets out to the 50-yard line, pickup of 8. So a little bit of trickery early for the Buckeyes.
You talk about a talented player who can do it all and can play just about every position. Wide receiver, defensive back. You've seen him return kicks. He's lined up there as a quarterback. And all they want to do is just park the middle of the field for Ted Ginn Jr. right there. Just a slight delay and watch him come out the backside. There are the moves when you get him into the open field. He is as dangerous as there is in the entire country once he's in the open field.
Back to the ground with Pittman. And Pittman lowers the head, fights, and picks up maybe a yard.
That's an absolute must for this Illini defense, is to kind of hold Pittman in check. Talking to Mike Mallory, the defensive coordinator, says first thing we got to do, stop the run. Then we got to contain Troy Smith and keep the ball in front of us. We can't allow big plays like they did last week against Wisconsin. Stop the run, and that's Antonio Pittman. So far, so good for this Illini defense.
Illinois, 114th out of 117 Division I-A schools in defensing the run. They allow 228 yards per game. That's a difficult way to win games.
A lot. To say the least, it is a lot.
We have had a number of flags early in this game, and this one looks to go against Ohio State.
So maybe another false
Prior
start.
to the snap, false start. Offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. Still third down.
So 3 flags already this drive. This one is against the left tackle, Doug Daddish.
And you know, Ohio State, they're not known for beating themselves. And when you say that, they don't have the false starts and the offsides penalties because they're a disciplined football team. They're a team that if you look at them over the years, they just don't beat themselves. Uncharacteristic already, 2 penalties for 10 yards for false starts by this offense.
4 receivers in the game for Smith. Flushed out of the pocket to his right. Stumbles and simply throws it away. And that's exactly what his head coach Jim Tressel wants. Troy Smith knows that according to Jim Tressel, the most important part of the game is a punt.
And take care of the football offensively. I'll tell you what, he got a heck of a pass rush at the Illini by Ryan Matha. He was about to go to Santonio Holmes, who was coming open on the backside on an in route. And right as Troy Smith is about to plant and let it go, Ryan Matha shows up in his face, and he's flushed out of the pocket. A heck of a play by those big guys up front, stopping the run and then getting some pass rush.
4 drives, 4 punts. Trapasso bounces his kick and is down close to the 10-yard line. So Illinois will start 90 yards away from pay dirt. Neither team able to get much footing offensively. We'll see if Illinois can get it done when we come back. .56 remaining, first quarter. Illinois trying to win their first conference game of the season, taking on the 12th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. The Illini, they have had good success in recent meetings against Ohio State here in Columbus. They have won the last 2 games on this field. So if they're students of history, they must feel like they have a good chance today against this vaunted Buckeye team. Brasic on the pitch, gets it out to Pierre Thomas. Thomas moves forward about 5, maybe 6 yards. Now let's go back to the studio. Maurice Davis is standing by with an update on Wisconsin and Penn State.
And the Nittany Lions off to a quick start offensively. Not quite 2 minutes gone in the ball game when Michael Robinson going up top for Dion Butler, his 14th TD pass of the year. And Happy Valley, Nittany Lions up by a touch early.
Thank you, Reese. They're coming the other way. They run off right tackle. And Illinois picks up about 2 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 2. On the carry was Pierre Thomas, his 2nd consecutive carry for Ron Zook.
Well, their average start in terms of offensive starts for the Illini offense is their own 18-yard line. It's hard to make a living when you're on the road and you're starting deep inside your own territory early in a football game. But this is where you want to live in 3rd down and 2 if you're this offense for the Fighting Illini.
E.B. Halsey is the deep back behind Bracek. He has the football, pitches it back. A.J. Hawk has Bracek, lets him go. And now he falls down at the 10-yard line.
I tell you what, A.J. Hawk, this just in, is a good football player. I tell you, you're impressed when you hear about him and you can see him on film, but when you see it in real life, I'm talking about playing at a speed that is faster than anybody on the field. He's just going to show up right there again, takes on the fullback, and then continuing on to the quarterback. Bracek had a receiver about to come wide open. Then all of a sudden, A.J. Hawk flashes in his face, and it all disappears because now I got to pull the football down. It's like a flash.
Weatherford, another punt. His last one sailed 66 yards. This one not quite as good. Goes out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. So A.J. Hawk, good defensive play, is going to allow the Buckeyes to get good offensive field position.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Just great field position on the part of Ohio State. You watch Hudson here, give it the double move, and right there just blows by the secondary. He's got the middle of the field. You can lead him with the football, but guess what? A.J. Hawk is in the face of Tim Bracek, and it all disappears. I mean, they tried to hit the home run, and talking to the offensive coordinator, Mike Loxley, he said, hey, we're going to let it all hang out. We can't get in the phone booth and slug it out with Ohio State because they're just too powerful. They outman us at certain positions, but trying to take some shots.
Maurice Wells, his first action of the day, freshman, and right here actually from Jacksonville, Florida, gets into a bit of a scuffle there. Alan Ball loses his helmet. Rod Williams actually is the man who planted him for a loss of 1.
Yeah, true freshman, big, strong, active kid, athletic, big guy, 6 foot. You know, he's kind of light for a defensive end, 225 pounds, but he didn't show it there. He just fought off a block and made friends in the backfield.
Rod Williams would love to play well today. He is from the Cleveland area. He is from Garfield Heights. Troy Smith also from Cleveland. He pitches this one out, and it is caught. Complete to the tight end, Marcel Frost. Second first down of the game for Ohio State. Back to the studio we go, and Reese Davis.
All right, Eric, Taco Bell studio update. North Carolina State and Florida State. Second play from scrimmage. Andre Brown of the Wolfpack, who ran for 248 yards against Southern Mississippi last week, gets 65 through the Seminole defense, and the freshman puts the Pack up by 7.
Thank you, Reese. So not too many people run past those Seminole defenders.
You talk about some fast defenses. They have them down in Florida. Florida State, Miami, Florida.
Troy Smith keeps it himself, spins, and gets positive yards on first down. They're going to call it a 6-yard gain, bringing up second down and 4.
He can make plays with his legs, averages over 4 yards a carry when he decides to tuck the football and run it. But we talk about a guy that's making some tremendous plays, playing with a lot of confidence and consistency. Troy Smith, leader of that Buckeye offense.
He is from that tremendous high school football program up in Cleveland, the Glenville Tarblooders. There are 6 Tarblooders on this Buckeye team this year. Try the left side, and again, Wells has a difficult go of it. Britton Miller is the first man to get to him.
Well, we were talking last night about this Ohio State football team and all the talent that they have. You talk about guys being backed up by other guys, second team. Well, they're just parade All-Americans. Maurice Wells, parade All-American. He has that, his style is compared to Ward Dunn of the Atlanta Falcons, 4.4 speed, kind of a smaller guy, 5'10", 185 pounds, good change of pace back for you. But boy, they have a lot of depth here at Ohio State.
Coverage never bare.
Never.
Third down and 3. Troy Smith, nimble feet, has a man complete to Anthony Gonzalez. And Gonzalez has another first down for Ohio State. Well, pick up a 15.
Yeah, watch the pocket presence of Troy Smith. And this is what every offensive coordinator strives to get out of a quarterback. Work in the pocket and not pulling the football down and taking off running. You just watch it. Just the calmness here. Moving. You get a little pressure. Just take a step back and then there. Sitting in the pocket, waiting for your receivers to come open and then delivering an accurate football. Troy Smith playing some outstanding football for this Buckeye offense.
First third down conversion for either team so far in this game. Flag flies before this play is able to unfold.
And Tressel still concerned about all the flags that are taking place.
Prior to the snap and prior to before the timeout was called, illegal substitution on the offense. They did break the huddle with 12 men. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
Trying to get some different personnel on and off the field, different formations. But going back to that play by Troy Smith, yeah, I watch quarterbacks on Sundays and in the NFL, and some of them that you drop back or you're in the shotgun and you're looking at the lineman, at the pass rush instead of looking down the field. He's a guy that's watching what's happening down the field. You got enough confidence in those 5 guys in front of you where you don't take your eyes from down the field. That way, when you have to move and slide in the pocket and a guy pops open, you can get him the football like you did to Anthony Gonzalez on that previous play.
Maurice Wells stays in the game. He's lined up to the right of Troy Smith. Smith has 4 receivers at his disposal. 3 left, 1 right. And he tries the right side. With a fade to the corner of the end zone, and Santonio Holmes has it sail over his head. Good defense was played.
Boy, he had exactly what he wanted. One-on-one coverage out here, just man-on-man. That's just beat your man. He gets on top. If Troy Smith delivers just a catchable football just in the corner of the end zone and allows his receiver but a little more air, a little more touch on that football, and you're ringing up 6 points, because that's what you look for. In the passing game, find the one-on-one matchup. That's golden.
Smith likes to find Holmes. Holmes leads the team in touchdown grabs with 7. Ohio State, they've had fair to middling success in the red zone so far this year. Trying to get it done with Wells on the ground, and that's not going to work. Wells has carried the ball 3 times, and he's only gone forward on 1 time. A loss of 2 on that play.
Well, I tell you, they show blitz, and Kevin Mitchell comes off the edge and just kind of collapses everything. I mean, he comes off the edge and condenses the formation. They're trying to pull offensive linemen out, and he's unaccounted for because they're not thinking blitz. He blitzes from the strong safety position, and he and Maurice Wells make friends. Just about the line of scrimmage. I don't think Maurice wanted to be his friend, though.
3rd down and goal. Ball backed all the way out to the 13-yard line.
They've got the middle of the field wide open.
Smith to his fullback, Stan White Jr., had it and then dropped it. Don't know if he would have made it all the way to the end zone, but I'm sure he would have liked to make the catch.
I tell you, when you look at this formation and you look at the defense that Illinois had, and they were playing on that down and distance, the middle of the field got kind of wide open. Really, you don't really see it here, just swinging it out, trying to get his tight end and get it to him in a hurry. But the middle of the field is where you want to attack. A cover 2 look down here, close inside the red zone. You want to work the middle portion of the field.
29-yard attempt for Josh Houston, the senior from Findlay, Ohio, splits the uprights. And the first points of the game go to Jim Tressel and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ron Zook can't be too upset, though. His team, they're battling here in quarter number 1.
I tell you what, when you're on the road and you allow only a field goal to a high-powered offense like they've been playing the last couple of weeks at Ohio State at home, and the fans are certainly hostile in here, when you can just allow a field goal and that big chunks of yardage have been taking place on that drive, that's a small win. We talk about that every week. Small wins in a football game for Ron Zook and his defense keeps them in the football game. They're just a score behind. Get that one in pretty quick.
Well, tomorrow, some fantastic NFL football will be played on ESPN. The NFC East, they boast the tightest division race in the entire NFL. And Sunday night, 2 division rivals, they'll clash on ESPN. It's Donovan McNabb and the Eagles meeting Clinton Portis and the surprising Washington Redskins. That game starts at 7:30 Eastern. NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite.
Yeah, McNabb minus T.O.
Yeah, we mentioned Donovan McNabb. We didn't mention Terrell Owens. He will not play. He has been suspended by the team.
I don't understand it. I don't know why. And, they pay you a lot of money, and then when you get yourself suspended, you have to give back a lot of money. So I'm not into giving. I like getting, but I don't want to give it back to him. It's too hard to come by.
Owens, an interview on ESPN that ruffled a couple of feathers among the Eagles. Head coach Andy Reid wasn't too thrilled, and they decided that they're going to suspend him for at least 1 game. Let's go back to the studio where Reese Davis is standing by.
All right, Eric, Kellen Clemens injured for Oregon. Ducks taking on Cal. Dennis Dixon, a highly regarded young quarterback, showing why. Firing a dart in there to Demetrius Williams, and the Ducks grab an early lead at home on Cal, 7-0.
Dennis Dixon looks comfortable already.
Autzen Stadium alive.
It's always alive. That's a tough place to go into and play. Oregon at home, tough place to go in and get a win.
Well, the horseshoe is a tall task as well. Jim Tressel has lost just 4 games in 5 years here at Ohio Stadium. Brasic, pocket collapsing, moves to his left. It's difficult to run against the speed of Ohio State defensively. Brasic runs for his life and gets out of bounds after a gain of 4.
And still looking for that first down. Ron Zook, Tim Brasic, and that Illini offense. No first down so far in this football game, but I'll tell you what, they're going to have to get him. If they're going to throw the football, get him some quick throws, because this tremendous pass rush right now on the part of Ohio State. A lot of disruption up front. Get him some quick throws, some slants, quick outs, things of that sort.
Brasic tries to the right side. Faking the option, no one was behind him, takes it himself and gets across the first down marker. Pickup of 10 and a first down for the Fighting Illini. So they still think they've got a good chance. They play a solid first 15 minutes here in enemy territory. Ron Zook in Illinois down by just 3. Welcome back, everyone, to college football presented by Nokia. It's Illinois taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. 15 minutes in the books. Ohio State up 3-0. Jim Brasic and Illinois on the move. First down, ball on the 34-yard line. Brasic, the junior from Chicago, wants to run, and he's not going to have much success. Dropped down by Quinn Pitcock.
I tell you, it's going to be a long afternoon if you can get pressure from just your front 4 and you're not blitzing to get it. Those guys up front, Quentin Pitcock, A.J. Hawk, Bobby Carpenter, just disrupting this Illini offense. But it'll be a long afternoon if you can't get the football away against the 4-man rush.
Working quickly. Pitch out. Good running room with an opportunity. Halsey inside the 35-yard line. Heck of a play for Illinois. A pickup of 32 yards.
Well, this play goes because of the block by the receiver, DeJuan Warren, just kind of chopping things down, allowing Halsey to get to the edge right here. You see the option? That's the option man right there. Pitch the football, and that block inside by DeJuan Warren is the one that kind of freed up Halsey.
Another quick snap, and Brasic takes it himself and picks up good yards down the right side. He picks up 7 yards, bringing up a 2nd and 3. And Andre, what's the point here? They seem to be really trying to hustle the line and get the playoff.
Just trying to get a rhythm offensively and keep Ohio State. They like the personnel that they have in the game. And what it does is it allows you to get them. You can formation the personnel that they have on defense to your advantage. So you want to get to the line of scrimmage, get plays called, and keep that unit on the field. Call plays against it. You know, they're having some success so far.
Dante Whitner, Jean-Pierre Thomas for a loss. This will bring up a 3rd down and short situation for Illinois. Ball placed on the 27-yard line. Brasic under center. Puts a man in motion. That's his tight end. Little option right side. No chance at all. Heck of a play by Marcus Green, the senior from Louisville, to drop him for a loss. That's the 4th sack of the game for Ohio State.
Yeah, he gets tremendous pursuit up the field on James Ryan, the right guard. You see it right there, just kind of slips between the center, Matt Maddox, and James Ryan, and you get penetration like that up the field, it's going to make for a long afternoon. Right now, those big guys up front for Ohio State, they're the MVPs of this football game. I know it's early, but tremendous pursuit up the field by those front 4 guys.
Steve Weatherford looked like he was going to kick it. Instead, he punts it. Would have been a 49-yard field goal. And Weatherford has it down inside the 10-yard line. So Ron Zook would have liked the points, but they win the battle of field position, at least for now, as Ohio State is pinned up against their own goal line. We'll take a timeout. The offensive crew for Illinois starting to get it done. They had their best drive of the game. They were stalled just outside of field goal range. They get a good punt. Ohio State, they start this drive at the 10-yard line. 90 yards away from the goal line. Troy Smith under center. They want to run it on first down, and it's Antonio Pittman. Pittman, good game. Out close to a first down, pickup of 9. Let's take a look at our Napa Auto Care game track. Defense has been as advertised for Ohio State. 3 sacks on the day, 2 of them by All-American linebacker A.J. Hawk.
Yeah, it's been disruptive the entire time on defense. Bracing actually on that play had a guy wide open, and then Houston comes in and provides the only points of the football game with a 29-yard field goal. For the most part, so far so good. I mean, you can't ask for much more out of the Illini football team. Maybe a little bit more on offense, but they've stood the challenge so far.
Again, Pittman with the football, and Pittman has the first down. Let's go back to the studio with another update on Wisconsin and Penn State.
Penn State offense, Eric, still rolling, and this time it'll be in the running game. Second and goal play, a little draw look, and Tony Hunt will go in virtually untouched, and Penn State jumping on top 14-0. And look at this from Lawrence, Kansas. For the first time since 1968, Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, KU over Nebraska, 40-15.
Thank you so much, Reese. First down and 10 here. Troy Smith out of the shotgun, throws right side, dangerous pass. It's complete to Pittman in space. He gets out across the 40 before Britt Miller brings him down. But a gain of 21 for Pittman and the Buckeyes.
Well, I tell you what, James Cooper, he was right out there to make a play, and it looked like he just watched the football go in front of him and allowed Antonio Pittman to catch this pass. You watch it here, and then all of a sudden, number 25, James Cooper, is going to show up just out the outstretched hands. But when you gamble, you better gamble and win. Otherwise, you allow for big plays offensively if you're out there on that island.
Fresh set of downs. Anthony Gonzalez moves to the left side of the formation. Play action. Smith with time. Senses pressure, gets out of there. Crosses the 50, close to the 40. Heck of a run by the junior from Cleveland. A pickup of 20 yards. That's one of the dimensions that he has. And it's just so difficult to defend.
Yeah, when it all breaks down and you got a bunch of guys back there in coverage, you're at a mismatch at the line of scrimmage already. And I tell you, he throws a move that just unbelievable. It just freezes right there. Everybody's covered. He starts to move around. And watch this move just right here. Sticks it in, sticks that old right foot in the ground. And there, just leaving them behind. About 4 or 5 defenders. Boy, that's pretty to watch.
2 big gains in succession. The Buckeye offense. Pitch left side. Pittman has it. He's still moving. Gets inside the 45. Gets inside the 40 before he's finally brought down. Well, the last 2 times these teams have met on this field, it has gone the way of the Illini. Ron Turner, the head coach in '99. Big day for Kurt Kittner and Brandon Lloyd. Hook up on this touchdown right here. Illinois won, scoring 46 points, the second most points allowed ever by Ohio State at home. 2001, Jim Tressel working against the Illini. Craig Krenzel intercepted late in the game, ran in by Ty Myers. Illinois wins convincingly, 34-22. That was the last time that Illinois has defeated a ranked team. Illinois defeating the Buckeyes, who were ranked 25th at that period in 2001.
Yeah, and Jim Tressel 29-4 at home in this stadium, and 2 of those defeats last year against Wisconsin, and then we talked about it a few years ago, or actually this year against Texas. So 2 out of the 4 losses have come in consecutive years. Last season against Wisconsin, this year against Texas, who came in here ranked number 2 in the nation. So they basically don't lose a whole lot in this stadium. Tough place to play, but give the Illini credit. The last 2 trips here, 99 and 01, they've come away with a win.
But this is a decidedly different Illini team.
Yes,
they have gone young under a new head coach in Ron Zook. They are starting just 3 seniors on both sides of the ball. It's not a lot. Hard to win games that way. Troy Smith can run for the first down, and he will. Flag flies in the secondary. Smith, if this play holds up, will be inside the 15-yard line. This would be a 17-yard gain if it holds.
May come back, maybe holding down the field once a receiver sees that Troy Smith is out of the pocket trying to throw a block down there. Grab one of those Illini defenders. Boy, what a weapon to have. having throwing for 59, completing 59% of his passes, and then the element.
Holding on the defense.
Oh.
Number 51. 10-yard penalty would be at half the distance to the goal from where the run ended. First down.
Anthony Thornhill is whistled for the infraction. Sophomore from Detroit. Play is declined. The penalty is declined. And Ohio State will pick up big yards. Actually, the penalty will be tacked on to the end of the run, so a real big gain for Ohio State. They're going to have the football inside the 10-yard line.
You see,
pick up 17 yards and then a 7-yard penalty.
You see the hold right there. Anthony Thornhill working against Anthony Gonzalez, holding the jersey, got him about 2 or 3 times. And sooner or later, you're going to get flagged for it.
Roy Smith wants quiet. Gives it to Antonio Pittman. Had 2 touchdowns a week ago against Minnesota. And this time he is bottled up close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week a week ago with his performance against Minnesota. Averaged 8.1 yards a carry. Talked about it a little while ago. Three consecutive weeks he's gone over the 100-yard mark. But there it is, the career high. 186 yards. Minnesota's a good football team. I tell you, that's no chopped liver to do it against them.
Antonio Pittman from the Akron area. Jim Tressel found him at Akron-Buchtel High School. Same high school as Ricky Powers, who was a heck of a tailback for the Michigan Wolverines back in the late 80s. Troy Smith, little hesitation in the backfield, and spins inside the 5. Gain of 2. Juggled that ball for a while and was fortunate to come up with it.
Yeah, I think they had a designed quarterback draw, and you'll see it right here where he's just trying to look, saw an opening a little bit, try to get to it a little bit quicker. You got to secure the football first, give the pass look, and then pull it down and go. And he just kind of started up the field without the football, but there, look at that magical number. 8 touchdowns on the ground for Troy Smith. He knows how to get in the end zone.
What do you like here on 3rd down and goal?
Well, they have him spread out. I'll give it to Mr. Pittman. He is a weapon in himself, so they got what they want.
They want to pass, and they go to the end zone. And pass intended for Santonio Holmes sails wide of the mark. That was the 10th play of the drive. And Illinois, they hold, and it looks like Ohio State will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, another one of those situations where you get down, pinned down inside the red zone, the Illini, and all of a sudden you hold them to a field goal attempt. And you look at it, even if they make the field goal, they go up 6-0. You go down, you get yourself a touchdown, you go up 7-6. Hey, those small wins throughout the course of a football game, you're scoring 3, you're scoring 7s, they're only scoring 3. Eventually, you're going to catch up.
Houston had a 29-yarder. Earlier in the first quarter. This one from 22 on the year. He is 15 for 18. Make it 16 for 19. Ohio State now on top, 6-0. Halfway home here in the second quarter. Josh Houston doing his job. Buckeyes on top, 6-love.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare, and smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste, great times.
Troy Smith, a big part of that drive for Ohio State. 60 yards, 21 on the ground, 39 rushing. In total, the Buckeyes traveled 86 yards, capped off with a 22-yard field goal. Josh Houston has now 2 field goals for the senior, and the Buckeyes on top of Illinois, 6-0. Houston will kick off. Houston with that tremendous leg. Talked about 8 touchbacks and 8 attempts a week ago in the Metrodome against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. This kick, again, a touchback deep to the end zone. With more on Josh Houston, let's go down to Heather Mitz.
Thanks, guys. Well, for Josh Houston, he's one of the best kickers in the country, and he's surprised that he's playing here at Ohio State. He played high school with Ben Roethlisberger, and his field kicking services were often needed because they were always scoring touchdowns. He thought for that reason alone that he wouldn't get noticed, but Ohio State did. 6 years later, and a lot of ups and downs, he's here. Coach Tressel said that he would be surprised if he didn't get picked up by the NFL.
Thank you, Heather. Yeah, Josh Houston, how about that, being a field goal kicker, playing with Ben Roethlisberger at Findlay High School.
Yeah.
You'd imagine extra points only.
And then following a guy like Mike Nugent, who's in the NFL, I tell you, they just keep spitting them out here. Good kickers at Ohio State.
Jim Tressel thinks it's so important to have productive punters and place kickers. He makes sure he has them every year. Braysick moving out of the pocket. Good gain on first down, pick up a 7. Let's go back to the studio and Reese Davis.
All right, Eric, checking in now on the showdown in the Big 12. Missouri and Colorado, Big 12 North. Colorado with a 7-0 lead. Brad Smith finding William Franklin. Point after was no good. Buffs hanging on to a 1-point lead at home.
Thank you so much, Reese. I know you really like watching Brad Smith play.
Yeah, he is an exciting player. A couple of weeks ago had a heck of a football game. And that one right there, may decide the Big 12 North, and he gets to go down and face Texas.
He gets to be roadkill. Rashard Mendenhall, his first carry of the game. Highly touted recruit in his first season here at Illinois, playing for Ron Zook, and it looks like he's going to have first down yards.
You mentioned it, a young football team that Ron Zook has. You talk about one senior starter on defense, only 2 seniors on offense, so they're definitely building for the future. Junior quarterback, he'll be back next season, but they are young across the board.
Braysick pitches it out. That's Mendenhall, his second consecutive carry. Picks up 5, maybe 4 yards on first down. Well, tonight, the game to end all games. It's a showdown of 2 of the nation's top 5 teams. The number 5 Hurricanes traveling to Blacksburg, Virginia to take on the 3rd-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. College football primetime presented by Polaroid on ESPN. That's tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Mendenhall again, and this time not getting past the senior A.J. Hawk. He picks up 1 yard, but that's it.
When you meet him, you're not going to go too far. I'll tell you, that's the epitome of a true football player right there. A.J. Hawk, they list him at 6'1". I'll guarantee you he's a little bit taller than that, but boy, when he steps up and he meets you, you're not going anywhere. It's stop right there. Look at that, just the penetration, form you up and get you on the ground. That is a fantastic football player.
3rd and 5. Illini have yet to complete a 3rd down. 5 receivers in the game for Braysick. Under duress, breaks 1 tackle. Mike Kudla had him by the ankles and finally knocked out of bounds by Anthony Schlegel. The middle linebacker from Highland Park, Texas, lays his shoulder into him, and that'll bring on the punt team.
He transferred in here from Air Force a year or so ago, but you talk about just the probably the best trio of linebackers in the country. A.J. Hawk, we talked about him, Bobby Carpenter as well, but then this guy, the 3rd guy, Anthony Schlegel, he shows up nasty.
They call it a sack. That's the 4th sack of the game for Ohio State. They now lead the Big Ten with 35 sacks as a team. Steve Weatherford punted away. Ted Kidd Jr. is back deep. And he's not going to have an opportunity to return this one. It goes out of bounds, and the Buckeyes will take over on the 20-yard line. The hard-hitting Buckeyes, led by middle linebacker Anthony Schlegel, on top of Illinois, 6-0. Welcome back to Ohio Stadium. The Horseshoe is our venue. It's the 12th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes on top of the Illinois Fighting Illini by a half dozen. Ohio State on the season, 6-2, including a 4-1 record in Big Ten play. Illinois, they won their first 2 games of the year and have not won since. They're 2-6, including an 0-5 start to conference play for them. Troy Smith under center. First down at 10, ball on the 20-yard line. Smith hands it off. Antonio Pittman, a good gain for him. Picks up 5 yards on first down. Well, before every home game, how about a fantastic way to get fired up? They call it the Skull Session. It's right across the street at St. John Arena, longtime basketball venue. The team goes through an introduction from head coach Jim Tressel, and at the end of the Skull Session, everyone is fired up.
I tell you what, he does a fantastic job of getting the students, the alum, everybody involved in this entire program, and you can just feel it when you're around here for a couple of days. Everybody's excited about an Ohio State football game.
2nd down at 4, again on the ground, and again with Pittman. This time Pittman skips across the first down marker and gets 12 yards. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 for Ohio State. Back to the studio we go, and Reese Davis.
There is a Joe Pa-sized can of whooping being applied to Wisconsin's backside. Penn State already up 14-0. Oh, they think it's going to the tailback instead. Brandon Snow, the fullback, plows in there. The Nittany Lions at home on Senior Day up 21-0. Colorado and Missouri, the Buffs. Lawrence Vickers just scored a touchdown. Colorado by 8.
Thank you, Reese. Well, maybe Ron Zook knew a thing or two about how porous that defense is for Wisconsin. 1 week ago, Illinois, they racked up 538 total yards against the Badgers. That's a big number.
Had their way pretty much. Just didn't played well the entire ball game, but just didn't do enough on the scoreboard to pick up the win.
Penn State coming into November. Take a look at this. Each of the last 2 years winless in Big Ten play. This year 5-1 in conference under Joe Paterno, averaging 35 points per game coming into November.
And they finally got some consistency at the quarterback position. Michael Robinson is playing outstanding, 8-1 right now, and sitting just primed in this Big Ten race. So fabulous job and a fantastic turnaround on the part of Joe Pa down at Penn State.
Second down and 10. Troy Smith out of the shotgun, has Pittman to his right. Wants to throw. Looks right side. In trouble. Simply throws it away out of bounds. It's getting by the water guy.
A fantastic throwaway. I mean, sometimes those are the best plays in football. You're in trouble. You don't want to force one. You have the lead. So you just want to get it out of bounds, come back and fight on third down. But a smart heads-up play by the junior quarterback, Troy Smith.
That's exactly what Jim Tressel wants. Doesn't want the spectacular. He wants the smart.
Limit the penalties and stay absolutely away from turnovers. Don't fumble and don't throw interceptions. And you've got a pretty good start on how Jim Tressel wants to win football games.
Troy Smith just 1 for his last 6 throwing. Third down and 10. It's Gonzalez crossing across the field, and Gonzalez has a first down. Pickup of 12 for Troy Smith and Ohio State.
And you try to tell me that Anthony Gonzalez can outrun Ted Ginn Jr. I'd like to see him side by side, but I tell you what, on that play, catching it in a crossing route, right out the backside, you see him right there, just going to keep crossing. In zone coverage, sometimes you sit down, but he saw that there was an open void in the defense, getting up in north and south up the field. Just has the presence of mind, get to the first down marker, get yourself out of bounds. Smart play.
Average yards per completion. How about that for Ohio State? You're going to win a lot of games when you're averaging 16 yards per completion. Troy Smith stumbles coming out of the backfield, spins and gets to the 50-yard line. A pickup of 4 for the junior quarterback.
They've got a lot of guys on this team. Santonio Holmes, Ted Ginn Jr., and then Troy Smith at the quarterback position. Every time they pull it down and start up the field, you just hold your breath, because any of the 3 of them can break it at any time. Then you throw in the youngster, the sophomore, Antonio Pittman, and I mean, you got some game breakers, and that's what you need on offense. It's easy to play quarterback when you got guys like Ginn and Holmes on the outside, and then a guy Pittman running the football for you.
So far, Ohio State doesn't look like they're playing for the big play. They just want to pick up manageable chunks of yards, get in the field goal range, get a touchdown if possible, but worst case scenario, kick a field goal. It's Antonio Pittman who picks up 5 yards. It's going to bring up a third down and very short.
Now, we talked about a bunch of small wins in this football game for Illinois. And sooner or later, the defense starts to get frustrated when you're doing your job, you're holding them to 3s, and then your offense hadn't stepped up and accepted their part of the bargain. So they've got to move the football. Had one drive where they moved it, but no points as a result. This defense is going to get tired here sooner or later.
Ohio State with almost 100 more total yards than Illinois. Another first down run for Pittman. Just lowers his head and powers across the first down marker. Well, just to clarify, I was told by a fantastic source, someone by the name of Jim Tressel, that Anthony Gonzalez is faster than Ted Ginn Jr. in the 40-yard dash. Truth be told, Jim Tressel said that Ted Ginn Sr., the head coach at Glenville High School in Cleveland, and Ted Ginn Jr.'s father, insists that that man, Anthony Gonzalez, is faster than Ted Ginn Jr. in the 40 yards, and Ted Ginn Jr. has world-class speed.
I'd like to see him line up side by side and get it on, but that crossing pattern that he caught, I was about convinced when he came out the backside of it.
Smith out to Santonio Holmes, and Holmes with the touchdown for Ohio State. Heck of a play by Santonio Holmes to make the catch, and a little bit of Zuzu to get in the end zone with his 8th touchdown of the year.
Well, we just talked about the weapons. We talked about Ginn Jr. and then Anthony Gonzalez, who works the middle of the field, does the dirty work in the middle. And then on the outside, on the perimeters of the defense, Santonio Holmes, another magical weapon for this offense. Troy Smith and the Buckeye offense.
You talk to defensive coordinators, and the guy that they game plan for the most, it's that man, it's Antonio Holmes, who scampers in with a 41-yard touchdown catch and run. Josh Houston, no problem. It's now 13-0. Ohio State on top of Illinois. 80-yard drive. Final 41. Picked up by the junior from Belle Glade, Florida, Santonio Holmes.
Beautiful.
Santonio Holmes, his 8th touchdown of the season, and the Ohio State Buckeyes, ranked 12th in the country, on top of Illinois, 13-0. This is the script that you'd imagine Jim Tressel wants. Play good defense and just, when the opportunity arises, put the knockout punch in on Illinois.
Well, they know eventually they're going to have some big plays, and they started to wear down this Illinois defense, running right at them with Antonio Pittman. But then all of a sudden what happens is you suck a defense up, and you're going to have the opportunity to make plays down the field like this with Santonio Holmes. And you see him catch the football here, but what I like at the end of this play, right about here, you're going to see Ted Ginn Jr. throw a block that gets him into the end zone, and that's teamwork. Guys working together, fighting for one cause. Guys blocking down the field to help spring the other guy. Unselfish play on the part of Ted Ginn Jr.
Best drive of the game for Ohio State. 9 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Houston once again forces the opposing team to take a touchback. That's the 4th touchback of the game. Let's go back to the studio and Reese Davis.
All right, Eric, Pontiac Performance halftime report coming your way. Lou Holtz, Mark May will be alongside. The latest on TO, a thriller from Northwestern against Iowa, and a little Big 8, Big 12 history.
The Penn State is playing great. They're 1 second away from being undefeated, maybe the best team in the top 10.
And Texas flexes his muscles today. I'll tell you about it at halftime.
I'm not sure I'll let him get away with that, but I'm running out of time. Best team in the top 10?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a chance to back it up at halftime. Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll be watching. Ball on the 20-yard line for Illinois, and again, the pressure continues. Bracing under duress, simply has to throw it away. He's lucky that wasn't intentional grounding. I think it might have been.
Well, it is, and here's the reason why. He may have gotten himself to the outside of the tackle box, but the ball, when he threw the football, didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 15. Spot foul, loss of down, 2nd down.
Bracek's going to have nightmares about this first half against Ohio State. He has been under heavy pressure all first half long.
Well, you see that he's trying to escape here, but gets rid of the football. The tackle box is right about the hash mark, and then the ball, when he gets rid of it, it doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. That's why the penalty was called. It's got to at least get back to the line of scrimmage if he's throwing it out of bounds. And I'll tell you, he hadn't faced this kind of heat all season long, and they're getting it just from those big guys up front. Colda, Pitcock, Green, and Peterson.
Ball on the 3-yard line, 2nd and 27. And Bracek wants to change the play. This is
kind of loud.
That's a hard thing to do. I want to hand it off. Pierre Thomas has the football. Get out of Linwood. Illinois picks up maybe a yard.
Well, you talk about just the tremendous heat that Tim Bracek has been under. A.J. Hawk right there on a delayed blitz. Lucky that wasn't a result of a safety here. He's got a wide open receiver, but just too much heat by this Buckeye defense. Then you see it here, just in the shot, even from the shotgun formation, they're getting there, and he's not having time to throw the football. So just a lot of heat by that Buckeye defense on Tim Bracek, the youngster for Illinois.
Tim Bracek has a little bit of time to regroup. A timeout is called by Ohio State. Their first timeout called. 2:02 remaining here in the first half. Well, the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia is the biggest, richest reference guide ever published on the history of college football. Read about the profiles, records, and statistical leaders, fight song lyrics of all 119 Division I programs, the Ivy League schools, and the most prominent historically black colleges dating back to 1869. You'll find it wherever books are sold. You also will find the voting totals in every Heisman race, and I can find out exactly at a moment's notice how many votes you got and who didn't vote for you in 1989.
I tell you what, it wasn't by a large margin, but look at the size of that baby. You talk about thorough. That baby has some, yeah, that's right. It has a lot of information in there in terms of college football.
And if I wanted to, I probably could grill you on the fight song lyrics for the University of Houston. You still know it?
No, I know the tune, but you probably get me with some of the words. Definitely.
Third down and a country mile. They're going to call it 3rd and 26. Illinois needs to get to the 30-yard line. Dangerous situation for the Illini. And Grayson doesn't want to bother handing it off, pitching it out, or throwing it. Keeps it and goes down at the 2-yard line. Marcus Green brings him down in a heap.
I got to question that play call down on this end of the field. You're going to run the option. There's a lot of elements that have to take place in order for that play to be successful. A lot of ball handling as well. And you're talking about a pitch. If it's dropped, all of a sudden there's a turnover. If Ohio State doesn't get it into the end zone, they certainly got a short field if they recover it. So a lot of bad things can happen running the option in that instance on that end of the field. If you're going to do it, just line up, go right at Ohio State and punt the football. You know, with the old adage, punt and play defense, that's what you have to do.
So Brasic goes to the sideline as Ohio State calls their second timeout. A.J. Hawk wants to deliver the football back to the offense with plenty of time left in the first half. Smiling
because he's having a lot of fun defensively. I tell you, he is wreaking havoc on that man's football team, on his offense. Well, he is having his way. His couple of sacks in this football game. 2005 Butkus Award semifinalist. And I'll tell you, I don't know if there's a better linebacker in the country than that young man right there.
And it is fitting, talking about the Butkus Award in Illinois. Players, obviously Dick Butkus, and some pretty good linebackers that come through Illinois. Butkus, Ray Nitschke, Dana Howard, Kevin Hardy. Weatherford able to weather the storm, gets it out. It is a short punt mishandled by Ted Ginn Jr. Bats it down, and Illinois has the football. Oh, just a bad decision by Ginn, and it gives Illinois the football and momentum.
When you talk to Jim Tressel, what did he tell you?
Protect the football.
One of the most important plays, or the most important play in his mind, is the punt, and it's because so many things can happen to a football team during the punt. Right there, just you got to field it first and foremost. That young man is amazing once he gets his hands on the football, but you can't get started unless you field the punt first. All of a sudden, the Illini with tremendous field position and enough time and timeouts to go down and get some points of their own.
And that, as it turns out, is the biggest play of the game so far for Illinois. They gained 46 yards on that punt. First down at 10. Brasic wheels it out to Pierre Thomas. Thomas is tripped up at midfield. Talk about the turnover margin that Jim Tressel looks at after every game. They're currently 10th in the Big Ten, not where they want to be, at -5.
It's a team that does not turn the football over, and you see them 10th in the Big Ten. They get a lot of them, but you know, they don't have a lot of penalties as well. And boy, when you start turning the football over, all of a sudden it is in your opponent's favor.
Brasic again, who is back coming out of the backfield. Pierre Thomas gets the first down and then is brought down with some authority by A.J. Hawk.
And they've still got 3 timeouts left, Illinois. Minute 6, the clock's going to stop there with the movement of the chains. So a lot of time to just kind of move the football down, and it will do wonders for Ron Zook and his football team if they can come away, steal some points here at the end of this first half.
Again, pitching out to the back. This time it's E.B. Halsey, and Halsey is dropped when the first man gets him. That's Dante Whitner.
Dante Whitner, a tough, aggressive, physical football player. Reminds the coaches here at Ohio State of Mike Doss, the tremendous safety. But you look at Ohio State and you just don't really see, or you don't vision them being that fast of a football team. Boy, they fly to the football. A.J. Hawk making plays. Now you see Dante Whitaker on a couple of plays here on this drive, flying onto your screen and making plays defensively.
Dante Whitner from that vaunted Glenville Tar-Butter program up in Cleveland.
And you see him right here. Dante Whitner going to come up, and he's just making plays all over the field, coming at you right here, actually into your screen, and just making tackles a couple plays before on the other side of the field. He just shows up, and all he does when he gets there, he's nasty. He's a physical player, and that's how the coaches describe him, as just being tremendously physical. Only 5'11", 205, but boy, he plays huge.
Andre, we talked to the coaching staff for Ohio State yesterday as they get ready for this Illinois team. And Ohio State coaching staff believe that they're one of the few entire country that can compete with just players from their own state. They don't need to go down to Florida or Texas to get their speed. They can get it done with kids from Ohio.
They can, but you know what? Every once in a while, they sneak in a couple of different states' backyard and get a few good players. And I tell you, they can survive that way. Boy, they can also go down and recruit wherever they want to.
Set up the screen, and it's a good one. Derek McPherson, well, he looked like he had a little bit of running room, and it closes quickly. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 14.
Yeah, big Mike Colda. You see it, and you talk about the speed from the secondary and the linebackers, but all 6'3", 265 pounds of him. The senior right defensive end, just kind of making plays all over the field and always chasing the football down. If it's not right at him and he's not holding the point of attack, plays away from him, he's running plays down. Those guys, the 11 guys on defense for Ohio State, they never quit until the whistle. You hear a lot of coaches talk about play to the whistle. They play to the whistle.
A.J. Hawk is one of those guys who plays to the whistle, and he was a participant in 2002 as a freshman. He says he's come a long way since then.
And when you're young, it's just like you're out there and you have an idea of what you're going to do, but you don't know anything of what anyone else around you is doing. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned since I've been here is to learn the whole scheme and to realize where my help is and where everyone around me and what they're going to do. And that's what I think the biggest thing that's changed since I've been here is that I have an idea of what everyone else is doing, and it's not just me like I was my freshman year.
How about that for a high as a freshman? Just 18 years of age, getting to play at Ohio State and then winning the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl out in Tempe and being a national champion.
Yes, said he played a bunch of special team plays and was still growing up at that point in time as a linebacker. But tell you what, he's grown up in a hurry and one of the nation's best at his position now.
3rd down and 15. Braysick skips away from one would-be tackler, throws it away, and man, the Dogs are coming after Braysick here on this drive. Has to simply throw it away. That's his first incompletion in his last 9 throws.
Well, I tell you what, we just talked about guys playing to the whistle, and Mike Colda just kind of epitomizes that in chasing in the pursuit of Tim Braysick. You'll see him right in here, just kind of giving chase outside right there, Mike Colda, and then just relentless, chasing a guy away. The play's clearly away from him. Could have given up on it, could have just gotten himself blocked, but never quitting until the whistle blows. That's a tremendous play of stalking the quarterback by Mike Colda.
Nobody back deep for Ohio State. They may be coming after this one. Weatherford gets it away. High kick. And it'll be down inside the 5-yard line. Goes out of bounds at the 4. Call it a 42-yard punt. Coming up in a couple of moments. 28 seconds away from the Pontiac Performance halftime report. Back to the studio. Lou Holtz, Mark May will be joined by Reese Davis. And we'll talk about today's activity around the country in college football. How about a game up in Evanston, Illinois? Northwestern looked like they were left for dead against Kirk Ferentz and his Iowa Hawkeyes. Randy Walker's troops, they keep fighting.
We talk about Joe Paterno and the coaching job that he's done at Penn State this year, but how about Randy Walker and the magnificent job of coaching that he's done with that Northwestern program? I tell you, Brett Bazinet playing as well as any quarterback in the country right now for Northwestern.
Troy Smith, signal calling for Ohio State, takes the knee, and it looks like both teams are satisfied to go into the locker room. Ohio State have the game's only touchdown. 2 field goals by Josh Houston and a touchdown of 41 yards by Santonio Holmes, and they are on top 13-0 after 30 minutes of play. Let's go back to the studio where Reese Davis is standing by with the Pontiac Performance halftime report.
All right, Eric, the Zucker keeping his team close, scrappy, but the Buckeyes up by 13 at the break. Coming up on the Pontiac Performance halftime report, you think a game's over? A game's never over until all of the zeros are on the clock. Wait till you see what Northwestern did and what Penn State is doing against Wisconsin. Back after this.
Everyone. Welcome back, everyone. ESPN College Football presented by Nokia, as is here at the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. Buckeyes on top of Illinois 13-0. And Heather Mitz caught up moments ago with Illinois head coach Ron Zook.
Coach, Tim Brasic has been under pressure all afternoon. What do you do to neutralize Ohio State's defense?
Well, that obviously is a great defense, and you try to move the pocket a little bit and help him out. Our offensive line's having some trouble. You try to keep backs in and help them a little bit, but that's a great defensive line, and so we just got to try to misdirection and move the pocket.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Well, Ohio State will start here on offense in the second half. Ted Ginn Jr. tries the left side. He's got tremendous speed, and Ted Ginn Jr. cuts it back at the 50 and runs into a host of Illini defenders and goes down. He'll be at the 35-yard line. Call it a 65-yard gain for the sophomore from Cleveland.
Well, I tell you, just tremendous speed and the ability to change directions at any point in time. Full speed. Most guys have to slow down a little bit to do it. Ted Ginn Jr. can do it at full speed. You see him here pick up a nice block by Santonio Holmes right there. That springs him to the outside. And now, watch the change of direction right here to get a few more yards, a little extra. And Ted Ginn Jr., every time he touches the football, you just kind of hold your breath.
And last time he touched the football, he actually muffed a punt. So he is thrilled to atone for that mistake. On first down, in goes Antonio Pittman, picks up a couple, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 8. But a flag is down on the field. We'll have to get this one sorted out.
Well, you just kind of have to pick your poison with Ohio State. You want to shut down Antonio Pittman? Well, you open yourself up to those fast guys on the outside, Ginn and Holmes.
On the offense, number 4, 10-yard penalty from spot of the foul. Still first down.
Santonio Holmes, who has the game's only touchdown, call for that infraction. And Andre, as we play the second half, we have 30 minutes of football left. What do you expect to see out of Jim Tressel in this offense?
Well, you expect them to do the same thing. They want to pound you inside and get Pittman started. They've done a pretty good job, Illinois, of kind of keeping him in check. So they'll go right at the middle of that Illini defense. Ron Zook talked about moving the pocket for his quarterback. I tell you, the problem that he'll have with that is that Ohio State's so fast on defense. A.J. Hawk, all those guys running them down. Mike Kodla along the defensive line making plays from behind. Boy, just unbelievable speed.
On 1st and 18, give out to Marcel Frost, and he picks up good yards out close to a first down. 17 yards on that catch and run. Taking a look at our Napa Auto Care game track. First half, the biggest play of the game. Troy Smith to Santonio Holmes for 41 yards and a touchdown.
And he picks up a block from his buddy on the other side, Ted Ginn Jr., to help him get in the end zone.
And defensively, Ohio State, man, they pinned their ears back. They were coming after Tim Brasic like he was chumming the water, and they were sharks looking for the kill. Brasic was sacked 4 times, was under duress for the entire 30 minutes. And he definitely needed a blow in that locker room at halftime. Give goes to Antonio Pittman. I think he had the first down before he is pushed back. They're going to call it a gain of 2, but it's a fresh set of downs for Ohio State.
Yeah, free safety Justin Harrison there to make a play, and they've done a good job of keeping that young man in check. He came into this football game with 3 consecutive 100-yard performances and basically being held in check by this Illini defense. But when you do that and you commit an extra guy to the line of scrimmage, you open yourself up in the passing game for big passing lanes, and Troy Smith has done a fabulous job of finding receivers in those holes.
Ted Ginn Jr., man in motion, moves right side. Troy Smith sets up the middle screen, gets it to Pittman. Pittman shakes a tackler, gets inside the 10, all the way down to the 4-yard line. Pickup of 20 yards for the sophomore from Akron.
Well, when you set the screen as a quarterback, you do it with your eyes. Your head and eyes have to be down the field, drawing the pass rush to you. And Troy Smith making plays again. You watch him here. Pittman just going to kind of release out, but it's Troy Smith with the eyes. You see 4 or 5 guys rushing the passer free to the quarterback. Wait till the last possible second and pop it to Antonio Pittman. Huge gain. And all done by that young man with the head and eyes down the field, Troy Smith.
Troy Smith started this game 3 of 11 passing. He's completed his last 4 passes. This time tosses it out to Antonio Pittman. Pickup of 1, maybe. Take a look now at our Ruby Tuesday first half stats. After 30 minutes of play, Well, the scoreboard and the stat sheet dominated by Ohio State.
Well, that one right there glares out at you. That 1.9 per completion tells me you're not going anywhere. And you look on the other side of it, 21 yards of completion. The longest throw for Tim Brasic has been about 8 yards. For Troy Smith, 11 yards. I mean, unbelievable. The shortest for Troy Smith has been 11 yards. So unbelievable in the differential between the two in the pass game.
Troy Smith keeps it himself, gets up to the 3-yard line, maybe the 2, pickup of 1, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and goal. QB comparison, well, the numbers, at least completions and attempts for Tim Brasic, that looks impressive. But 8 out of 9 for 15 yards, that's not going to get it done.
Well, they're rallying to the football. Anytime he's hitting a bunch of short passes, but you got guys like A.J. Hawk, Bobby Carpenter, Mike Koldela on the other side of the defensive linemen that are running plays down, linebackers running and closing. And then on the other side, Troy Smith completing passes down the field. You want to commit some extra guys to stop the run? I got all these throwing lanes over the top, and he's finding open receivers.
Which option will he choose here? 3rd and goal. He chooses Santonio Holmes, his 2nd touchdown of the game, and the Buckeyes flexing their muscle here in quarter number 3. 3-yard touchdown catch for Santonio Holmes, his 9th touchdown of the season, and what a breakout season for Troy Smith and his partner in crime, Santonio Holmes.
And this is a timed route. The timing on the play has to be almost near perfection. It's a short, little out route into the end zone. You're throwing it before the receiver breaks. That takes a lot of work, a lot of summertime work, a lot of fall two-a-day work to time that thing out where you have confidence enough to throw it.
Extra point snap goes awry. Miscue for Ohio State, picked up in the open field, and coming the other way is Drew Norman. Illinois with a chance to pick up 2 points. And they do. How about that? 2 points for Illinois. Kevin Mitchell picked up the loose ball. And the best play of the game for Illinois, you just saw it right there.
Yeah, and it comes on a special teams play. And I thought Kevin Mitchell, around about the 15-yard line, was going to run out of gas. And I thought Josh Houston was going to run him down. I tell you what, he had just enough gas to get himself into the end zone.
So, 2 points for the Illini, courtesy of the fast feet of Kevin Mitchell. The snap of Drew Norman goes awry, and Mitchell, he huffs and he puffs, and he scores 2 for Illinois. 19-2 is our score. Ohio State on top of Illinois, 19-2, and Jim Tressel is a perfectionist, and he did not like what he just saw on that extra point attempt for Ohio State. Snap went awry, and the Illinois Fighting Illini picked up 2 points, courtesy of Kevin Mitchell and his fast feet getting all the way down and into the end zone.
Real big in terms of special teams. Jim Tressel does not make him happy. He wants one of those near perfect games. That does not sit well with the head coach of the Buckeyes.
Josh Houston, 4 touchbacks already today. Make it 5. How about that for a right leg?
I'll tell you, we talk about some good ones that have come through here. We talked about Mike Nugent and then this kid here. Boy. Let's take a look at the touchdown reception. We talk about the timing. You see the ISO receiver right there. The ball's already in the air. As soon as he turns, it's right there. Look at the footwork. Just getting it down. Hey, he's practicing for the NFL. Getting both feet down. Not just one, but both.
What's the best thing that Santonio Holmes does?
I'll tell you, he gets himself open. When you get him in one-on-one situations, every time there's separation, and that's separating from the DB, which makes it easy on the quarterback to throw the football because there's just you're always going to have room throwing to a receiver that can get you separation.
Holmes 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Pitch goes to Pierre Thomas. His first carry of the second half, picks up 2 yards. Illinois in that first half, they had some trouble. Tim Brasic, you think 8 out of 9 passing. Hey, how about that? That's pretty darn impressive. But he had just 15 yards for Ron Zook. Of his 8 completions, 2 of them were for no gain, and 2 of them were for negative yards.
Yeah, just amazing. The ability to get the football down the field right now for Tim Brasic in this Illini offense, non-existent.
Jason Davis with the carry. That'll bring up a 3rd down and long. Let's go back to the studio and Reese Davis.
All right, guys, opening kickoff in the second half, Alabama and Mississippi State. The freshman Derek Pegues from State is stripped by a freshman from Alabama. Jimmy John's a native of Mississippi, and Matt Miller takes it in for the touchdown. Alabama up 10-0, and look at Tennessee, the defense shutting down the Irish offense, and they tied it at 21.
Charlie Weiss. Have his hands full. It's Bill Fulmer's club.
That's why you play 4 quarters of football in an entire season.
Third down and 8. Need to get to the 30-yard line. Race it. He's already been sacked 4 times. Spins out of a tackle there. Gets it to a safety valve. And Halsey, nowhere to run. 4 Buckeyes jump on him. Pickup of 2 yards, but not nearly enough to move the chains.
See who's unraveling from the bottom. Those defensive linemen, Marcus Green, Mike Kudla, Anthony Slagle, another linebacker. It is amazing their ability to get to the football. The big guys, the guys that, you know, they could stop inside, let, you know, the DBs or the outside linebackers make plays, but all the way from the inside of the formation, and Anthony Slagle.
And they're going to fake a punt. Weatherford's a fantastic athlete. Makes a man miss. Flag flies. He's going to be close to the first down. I don't think he got it. We're going to have to sort this one out. If it's going to go against Illinois, the Buckeyes have the ball on the 28-yard line.
Well, they're going to have the football because it's going to be a holding penalty, and he was short of picking up the first down. He got about the 28, 29-yard line and got out of bounds. And then the hold right here.
Holding on the offense, number 47. The penalty be declined. First down.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Ron Zook?
Well, you know, you got to take a chance. They said that, hey, that we're not going to hold anything back. We're going to swing every time. You know, we're going to take all 3 pitches. We're going to swing at all 3 of them. And you got to try to win a football game and try to get some type of momentum. And just the hold right there, you see it. Weatherford, there, you got to lunge forward, get to at least the first down so that the penalty comes into play and you at least get another opportunity to punt the football. If you come up short, now you're turning the football over on your own 28-yard line.
So Jim Tressel will take the handout.
That's why I don't run punters. I wouldn't run punters. Wouldn't rely on punters running for first downs.
4 receivers in the game. Toss it out to Ginn Jr. Comes inside, and he is leveled from his blind side. Picks up 8 yards. But a tackle made.
He's going back inside where all the big bodies, you know, they've laid the foundation inside. Big Sherrod Williams in there, the true freshman. But I tell you, just fearless with the football. And you talk about playing. A lot of guys, we talk about it, they're clocked at 4.3, and, you know, they play at 4.7. Ginn Jr., he's clocked at fast and plays it faster.
Well, they talk about him as being world class. He was as a hurdler in high school. He had Olympic thoughts. And he's one of the guys. He had to choose between one or the other. He didn't run track last spring for Ohio State, but if he had and continued along that path, the thinking was he had Olympics written all over him.
You know what? I'd love to see Ohio State right now at this point in the season get it on with Texas. And here's why. You had Troy Smith sitting out that first game of the season. When he came back in, it was the second game of the year, his first appearance in a football game. Wasn't really comfortable with the speed of the game. He brought him back from a 10-0 lead early in that football game. They went up, I think, 16-10. But right now, this is one of the better teams in the country.
3rd down and 1, and they run Pittman. Pittman has the first down. Pickup of 3. And the ball's going to be close to the 16-yard line. When we talk about how explosive Ted Ginn Jr. is, last week, 100 yards. It was Ohio State's first kickoff for a touchdown in 6 years. Last man to do it was Michael Wiley in 1999. And when he gets in that open field, and maybe done faster in the entire nation.
All that cutting and across the field and all that 100-yard return was clocked at 11.9 by Ron Zook and his staff. So that lets you know how fast that young man is. I mean, unbelievable when he hits a gear and can change directions, and he does it at full speed. Changes and leaves change behind.
Troy Smith didn't like what he saw. He calls timeout. Buckeyes have the ball inside the 20. Jim Tressel's looking for more.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Saturn and Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Darkness starting to creep in here. Ohio Stadium, capital city of Ohio, Columbus. 19-2 is our score. Ohio State knocking on the door against the Fighting Illini. Troy Smith started off slowly.
Wow, look at that sense.
He did his last 6 tosses. Pitch it out. Antonio Pittman, left side, lowers his shoulder. Touchdown, Pittman and Ohio State. How about that for power?
How about it for determination? Talking about a youngster, sophomore, and just runs over the first defender, and then still has the presence in mind to tightrope the sideline and get himself into the end zone.
It looked like he was dead to rights. Lowers his shoulder, distributes the blow, and then scampers down the left side for the touchdown, his 3rd of the year.
Well, he is a talented youngster with a football in his hands.
Josh Houston trying to cap this drive with the extra point, and this time snaps good, holds good, and the kick goes through the uprights. 26-2, Ohio State on top against Illinois.
Take a look at this touchdown by Antonio Pittman there. Just a little misdirection and holds the defensive end just long enough, and they're lowering the shoulder and just running through tackles. I'll tell you what, just watch right here. Just lowering the shoulder and keeping himself in bounds right there. Footwork and then getting into the end zone. Unbelievable. Knowing where you're on the field, the presence in mind to know I'm close to the sideline, let me tap my feet, gather myself, and then get in the end zone.
Morris Virgil was the man that he pulled over on his way to the end zone. And Antonio Pittman, he is putting a smile on the face of his head coach, Jim Tressel, with his improvements this year.
You need a guy that can get you 100 yards a game if you really want to be good on offense, because you have to be able to do both, run it and throw it. And if he'll continue to do what he's been doing throughout the Big Ten schedule, then it's going to give us a chance to be a better offense, and I guess that makes a coach's life better.
And Jim Tressel smiling today because of Antonio Pittman. Last 3 games, 100 yards in each of them. Today, 83 yards.
Well on his way to 100. And I'll tell you what, a lot of things putting smiles on the face of Jim Tressel in this football game.
That does as well. Another touchback, the 6th touchback off the foot of Josh Houston. Let's go back to the studio and Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, guys, Alabama is yet to take an offensive snap in the second half. They have 2 touchdowns, scored 1 on special teams, and then Michael Hennig being swarmed by the Crimson Tide defense, and Rudy Griffin, the transfer from the Citadel, with the pick 6 of the ill-advised pass. 17-0 Alabama, and Notre Dame. Samardzija just caught a touchdown pass, 28-21. They're on top of Tennessee.
Thank you so much, Reese. That Samardzija's been a real find.
Yeah, he is playing some fantastic football. He and Brady Quinn.
I believe he just passed Derek Mays for most touchdown receptions in a season for Notre Dame. And once again, the pressure coming fast and furious. The freshman, Lawrence Wilson, from Akron St. Vincent St. Mary High School, with the sack of Bracing. Let's go down to the field and Heather Mitz.
Hey guys, well, I talked to Antonio Pittman yesterday, and he said they talked to Jim Tressel at the end of last season. He told him in order for him to contribute like they needed him to, he needed to gain some weight and become stronger. So in the offseason, he gained 15 pounds, and now he's 35 yards away from going for 1,000 yards rushing. We'll make sure to keep an eye on that record.
Thank you so much, Heather. Yeah, Antonio Pittman is a totally different player than what we saw a year ago in these parts.
Yeah, she said 35 yards from 1,000, the first player to do that since Maurice Clarett did it when they won the national championship here in 2002. And I'll tell you, that's a special thing when you can do it at Ohio State. He's a youngster. He's going to be around for a few years, just a sophomore. And as we mentioned at the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week this week. Came into this game averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Around the end zone for twice last week for the first time in his career.
Reminds me of Raymond Harris, who played here about 10, 15 years ago. 3rd down and 11. Illinois wants to get something done. Trying to bite off a big chunk, and how about that? Nice catch made by Kyle Hudson, the freshman, his first catch of the game. Bracing to Hudson and a pickup of 25 yards.
And give credit to the big guys up front, because for the first time in this football game, Tim Brasic has had time to look and read coverage and deliver the football without having guys dragging him down by his jersey and clipping him by the ankles. First time that he's had time in this game to read coverage out, deliver it down the field.
Ball on the 44-yard line. Brasic again wants to throw. This time has to spin away from a tackler. Trying to make something moving. The ad-lib gets him across the 50-yard line. It's not a bad play. They pick up 6 yards.
Well, you see the tremendous push once again. David Patterson, who can line up at defensive end or defensive tackle. Sometimes when they go nickel situations, they slide him down inside defensive tackle and put Bobby Carpenter down at defensive end to get some more pass rushes if they needed it. But boy, they can really bring heat when they want to.
2nd down and 4, and passes stripped away. They're going to say it's incomplete. Derek McPherson had it, then dropped it. Never had it long enough, so it's just an incompletion, much to the chagrin of Dante Whitner.
Well, I tell you, when Ohio State decides they want to get up and play man-to-man right in your face, commit an extra guy to the line of scrimmage, they do so. Look at it. Look at just Dante Whitner closing on the football. How many times have we called his name in this football game? Always around the football making plays.
3rd down and 4. All right on the 50-yard line. E.B. Halsey next to Brasic in the backfield.
Well, we got blitz coming and one-on-one out there up top.
Brasic throws late and incomplete. Looking for McPherson, but A.J. Hawk was there to make his presence felt and knock the football away.
And McPherson, a young receiver, true freshman's got to know where the down and distance markers are. Had he caught that football, he would have still been about 2 yards short of the 1st down. So you got to at least push to the depth of the 1st down marker and then break your route off, so that when you catch it and you're tackled, you at least got the 1st down and you move the chains.
Weatherford punts it away this time. Ed Ginn Jr. with the fair catch, makes it at the 14-yard line. Well, Antonio Pittman with 83 yards. He will come back out on the field looking for his 4th consecutive 100-yard game when we return. Welcome back, everyone. College football presented by Nokia. Ohio State and Illinois getting it on. 3rd quarter action. And this, folks, is a 300-pound cake. They bake it every time that Ohio State plays Illinois. And after the game, they cut slices of it, and they sell slices for donations.
I'll tell you what, that wouldn't be a bad deal to pick up a slice on the way out of here after the game's over.
General rule is of food. The bigger it is, the worse it is.
And well,
it can't be a good tasting cake.
It looks too good to slice up.
No, maybe we can get ourselves a slice sometime. We'll talk somewhat about that. Maurice Wells in the game for Ohio State in the backfield next to Troy Smith. Starting the ball on the 15-yard line. Smith sings it out as his former high school teammate Ted Ginn, who picks up good yards on 1st down, a gain of 7 for the sophomore. Let's take a look at our KFC storylines, what we've seen so far today. And Illinois, they have been under duress offensively, to say the least.
And you look at it, 1 of 10 on 3rd downs. Sacked 4 times. That is a mixture for disaster offensively. And then Ohio State, 140 yards rushing. Just kind of having their way right now in this 3rd quarter.
Ohio State trying to run their record in Big Ten play to 5-1. Still have a chance at winning the Big Ten title outright, or at least sharing it. They do not control their own destiny if they want to win the Big Ten title outright. Troy Smith and the fellows will have to win today. They'll have to win their next game next week against Northwestern, and then win up in Ann Arbor. Final weekend of the regular season for Ohio State against Michigan. If they win all those games, they're guaranteed of at least tying the Big Ten title.
I'll tell you, and that's the goal. When you talk to people around here, is just to win the Big Ten. It's tough enough to do that, but then if you can do it, you put yourself in a pretty good position to play for national championships at the end of the season. And they are certainly, I don't think that's going to happen, the national championship, but they can still get a part of that Big Ten title.
3rd down and 3. Smith sensing pressure, gets out of the pocket, spins for the first down. He is so dangerous. You think you have him, and then poof, he's gone.
Tremendous athletic ability. Delivering the football through the air, and then here, magical with the legs. He's gone from one side of the field to the other, scanning, going through his progression. And that's the thing about a guy like Troy Smith that goes underrated. Reads out coverage, goes from one receiver to the other. If it's not open, then I'm going to pull it down and make plays with my legs. And it's hard enough to defend him when he's dropping back passing, but when he gets in the open field, trying to get him down, next to impossible.
55 rushing yards for the junior, 158 yards through the skies. Looking to add to that total, has a man wide open, and it's Ginn. Touchdown!
Well, we talked about the legs and the ability to run the football. Then he just winds up and slings one deep for you to the speedster, Ted Ginn Jr. Just running a straight fly pattern, just the 9 route on the outside. Get me if you can. I'm going to get deep. And guess what? They couldn't get deep with it.
73 yards later, another touchdown for the Buckeyes. Perfect pitch and catch. 2 high school teammates doing it here in the Big Ten. Smith to Ginn in Houston. Extra point try. Makes it 33-2 with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Well, let me tell you something. There are about 5 or 6 football teams around the country. USC, Texas, Virginia Tech, Miami. Maybe you throw Florida State in there, and you certainly throw this Ohio State football team in there. This is just a tremendous pass and catch on the part of Troy Smith and Ted Ginn Jr. Just line up, I'm going to get deep and sling it out there. But my point is that at some point, we've got to find a way in college football, because of the slip-up early in the season by Ohio State. This football team is playing as well as anybody or any team in the country. I would love to see at the end of the season those 6 or 7, 8 teams get together, and let's decide it on the field.
Ted Ginn Jr., another touchdown for him. It's his 3rd receiving touchdown of the year. Ohio State with 4 touchdowns in their last 17 offensive plays. They have 20 points here in this third quarter, and we still have 4 minutes left in the stanza.
Yeah, we talk about next year. And you don't want to put the cart before the horse, but you got Smith coming back, Santonio Holmes just a junior, Ted Ginn Jr., sophomore, Pittman, sophomore.
And Houston. If you can make a highlight reel on touchbacks, kickoffs through the end zone, he's going to be the guy.
Think you could get him a 7th year?
Well, tonight, ESPN has the showdown of the year, at least so far. 2 of the nation's best teams going at it, Blacksburg, Virginia. It's the 5th-ranked Miami Hurricanes taking on the Virginia Tech Hokies, ranked 3rd in the country. College football primetime, presented by Polaroid on ESPN. That is tonight, 7:45 Eastern. We had a chance to see Miami just a week ago, and they kind of sleptwalked through their first half against North Carolina.
Yeah,
but in the second half,
they came out upset out of the locker room after halftime.
First down run between the tackles. The give, Pierre Thomas picks up a couple.
You know, you talk about that Miami football team. I don't know if Ohio State's got speed, but I don't know if I witnessed it last week as fast as Miami played in the second half against North Carolina. I don't know if North Carolina was slow or if Miami was just that much faster, but they got after it in the second half. Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator, you know, he's an intense guy. When they came out of that locker room, that's why I would be all eyes tonight when they get it on with Virginia Tech.
Second down and 6. Want to throw. Rasick tosses it out. Complete to his fullback. Russ Wild, his first catch of the day, just his 2nd catch of the season. Pick up a 5, making it 3rd and 1.
Well, that's what they're going to have. They're finally providing Tim Brasick with a little bit more time on the other drive. He hit Kyle Hudson with a deep pass down the field. Boy, turning it over. Short yardage situations here for the Illini, but they just got to provide him with a little bit more time to throw the football.
Pierre Thomas deep behind Jason Davis in the backfield for Illinois. They try and power it. Off tackle against this Ohio State defense, and they win that battle. They get the first down, and will get a fresh set of downs. A statement there for Ron Zook.
Yeah, one of the better ways to attack a fast football team is to just line up and go right at them. But hey, let's just see if we can do some things in the middle of this Ohio State defense. They got a little push right there. Maybe you come back to it, but you got to start throwing the football. If you're going to get yourself back in this football game, you got an entire quarter left here. They have the type of offense to throw their way back in it.
You have to do an Andre Ware impersonation to get back. The way that Ohio State's defense is playing right now, they are very hungry, and they are making life difficult for Tim Bracey. Pickup of 1, second and 9.
They're not going to get back in and running the option because they're optioning one guy, and they're being chased down from the backside by those big defensive linemen. A.J. Hawk on the outside can play between. They call it the gray area, making the quarterback just freeze up just enough to allow guys from the backside to make plays, and that's what's happening.
Here Thomas behind Bracek, under center. 2 receivers out wide right. Fake to Thomas. Bracek slings it out. Gets it to Thomas. Slips a tackle. And gets out across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Pickup of 6.
Well, this is an area that every offense tries to live in. Third down, medium to short, because you can still have the defense playing on its heels at that point. They don't know whether you're going to pass the football. They don't know if you're going to run the football or take a shot down the field, whatever. You still kind of have to guess in terms of what you want to do defensively. You have the advantage in this situation if you're the offense.
Need to get out across the 41-yard line. Bracek pulls it down, gets the first down, and is brought down at the 43-yard line. Let's go back to the studio. Reese Davis is standing by. Reese.
All right, Eric, Missouri and Colorado and the Buffs trying to not totally seal the Big 12 North, but they would really be in the driver's seat, easy for me to say. Joel Klatt to Quinn Sepnewski, and when Quinn, the tight end, gets there, everybody's going to jump for a touchdown. 31-12 in the third. Nebraska fell to Kansas.
Thank you so much, Reese. And the beat continues for Ohio State. This time it's Dante Whitner laying the lumber down on Pierre Thomas. Heck of a hit by the junior.
Always around the football. Came into this game with 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. Leads the team in interceptions. But boy, playing off blocks and then making plays in the open field, on the option, and as a secondary player. Strong safeties and safeties. When you play against teams that run the option, you got to be the support from the outside. Fill the lanes, the pitch lane. And boy, Dante Whitaker, he's doing it tonight.
We have talked so much today about Whitner defensively and offensively, Ted Ginn Jr. and Troy Smith.
Yeah.
They were high school teammates.
I'd like to have seen them in high school. That'd been one show. I mean, they could line up and play against some Division I schools and give them a run, but that's a lot of talent on the football field, on a high school field.
Troy Smith leading Ohio State to 20 points this quarter. This is what they're playing for, everybody. That is the Illabuck Trophy that will be handed from one team to the other. It's 33-2 Ohio State.
Sunday at 11, preview games from around the league on Sunday NFL Countdown.
Three quarters in the books, and it has been all Ohio State. They are on top of Illinois 33-2 here at the Horseshoe Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State, one of 3 teams remaining in the Big Ten with 1 conference loss, but one of those teams is not going to be able to say that after today because Penn State is playing Wisconsin, and both those teams with 1 loss, someone will lose today. Currently, Wisconsin is losing in State College, Pennsylvania against Penn State. Tim Bracek, once again in trouble, tries to dip it out to E.B. Halsey. Pass is incomplete. 3rd down and 13. Third quarter. That was
total dominance.
Total domination.
I mean, you're talking about 100 more yards of total offense. And the score there, 20 points in the 3rd quarter alone for this Ohio State offense. Just 2 on a run back on a high snap from an extra point attempt.
3rd down at 13. Bracek once again under pressure. Gets it out to a back, and Jason Davis going nowhere fast. He is brought down No gain on the play.
Well, Bobby Carpenter changed directions. He and A.J. Hawk. Those guys on the outside, they make a lot of plays, but you talk about redirecting, barreling down on Tim Brasic, and then he flips a pass out, kind of misdirection in the pass game, and then Bobby Carpenter turns, makes the play from behind, just showing you how fast he is. He's a big guy. Those linebackers, outside guys for Ohio State, can really run.
Another bomb off the foot of Weatherford. That one goes into the end zone. Punt of 60 yards, but only a net of 40 after the touchback. Bobby Carpenter, the rest of the defense catching a break. Santonio Holmes in the offense for Ohio State. Back on the field when we come back.
It seems like everyone's rushing to get things done faster. But sometimes the best solution is to slow things down. Budweiser Select starts with the finest American and Bavarian hops. Then we brew it longer, giving the beer a full flavor that's easy to drink. Why do we slow things down to make Budweiser Select? It's worth it. Budweiser Select. Expect everything.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Nokia. It's more than just a phone. It's your life in there. Nokia. And in part by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper. One taste and you get it.
Ohio State fans witnessing the 92nd meeting between Ohio State and Illinois. Series dating back to 1902. And for a decent amount of time, this game was always played after the Ohio State-Michigan game. Late November, back in the 1920s and 30s. So for one period of time, this Ohio State-Illinois game was almost on par with the Ohio State-Michigan game. And for anyone who knows about that rivalry, that really says something.
Yeah, it really does, because you know how big it is around here when you start talking about Michigan at the end of the season. And a lot of coaches have fallen by the wayside from Ohio State because they could not defeat that Michigan team. But Jim Tressel, tell you what, he has the recipe right now, a pretty good one.
3-1
for the Wolverines. That's
against
right.
that team from up north. Just getting started here in the fourth quarter. Ohio State, 2nd down and 8. 2 consecutive runs for Antonio Pittman. The sophomore spun around, still fighting for yards, and finally busted down at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look now at our Napa Auto Care game track. Troy Smith from the skies has been productive.
Yeah, he really has. He's been automatic with the football, getting it to his playmaker, Santonio Holmes. Then right here, another one to Santonio Holmes. Nice timing route on a timed out, and then this one just going down deep to the speedster, Teddy Ginn Jr. And nobody's going to catch him from behind.
The numbers don't lie. Troy Smith, 4 consecutive 200-yard games, and well, today 231 yards, and most of it has come recently. He is 8 for his last 8 with 178 yards in that time period and those 3 touchdowns.
How about this one? 10 touchdowns in the last 4 games, 1 interception. That's the number that really stands out in my mind, because he's been productive with the football, getting it to his playmakers on the outside, as well as working the middle of the field with Antonio Gonzalez as well. Throw him in there.
Timeout for Ohio State. They have just 1 remaining. Well, the NFC East boasts the tightest division race in the entire NFL. And Sunday night, 2 division rivals will clash right here on ESPN. Donovan McNabb and the Eagles taking on Clinton Portis, Santana Moss, and the surprising Washington Redskins. Eagles versus Redskins is also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Coverage begins with NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite tomorrow, Sunday at 7:30 Eastern. Now let's go back to the studio and Reese Davis.
All right, guys, couple of scores for you now in the ACC. North Carolina State, which has had great success against Florida State, relatively speaking, among those ACC teams from 1992, up by 3 at the Doak. Florida State trying to lock up a spot in the championship game. And Notre Dame, ACC championship game, I mean, obviously. Notre Dame up by 10 on Tennessee. They're getting late in the fourth quarter. The Irish trying to put that thing away late inside 5 minutes to play in South Bend.
Tennessee showed up for a little while, and all of a sudden, Brady Quinn got a hot hand.
Can you believe that Tennessee's going to have 5 losses if that score holds?
I cannot believe that at all.
Troy Smith again complete. That's his 9th straight completion. Santonio Holmes with the grab, and he gets out to the 40-yard line.
And you talk about some guys that can make plays. You talk about yards after the catch. Santonio Holmes, Ted Ginn Jr., and when they catch the football, the show's just starting. You watch it, it's just starting when they put their hands on the ball, and then they tuck it away and start north and south. They get there in a hurry, and it's like, hold your breath, stay tuned, because something exciting is about to take place.
Ted Ginn Jr. lines up wide left side alongside Santonio Holmes. Up 33-2. Troy Smith wants to throw on first down. Has Ted Ginn Jr. And he's got an angle. Out of bounds inside the 10. That doesn't happen very often. When he gets in the open field, usually it's 6.
Well, Alan Ball was clearly outclassed in terms of speed, but he does a good job of working the angles in order to keep himself ahead of Ted Ginn Jr. Take a look at this in real-time speed. Right here, just lulling him to sleep. Little in route right there. Settle. Now, I'm going to hit a gear. And, boy, look at the speed. Just run. Good job with the angles by Alan Ball to use the football field to his advantage. Otherwise, he takes a bad angle. Ted Ginn Jr. is in the end zone.
This half for Ted Ginn Jr., 65-yard kickoff return, a 73-yard touchdown catch, and that most recent 52-yard reception. How about that for an explosive half of football? And how about touchdown number 2 on the day for Antonio Pittman? Ohio State keeps on keeping on.
Explosion in the pass game, especially explosion in the run game. We talked about it from the open of the show. The ability to throw the football as well as run it. Pittman has provided the ability on the ground. Troy Smith and those talented wide receivers, Holmes and Ginn Jr. on the outside, have provided the pass as well to go along with that.
Antonio Pittman went the first 7 games of the season without a touchdown. He had 2 a week ago against Minnesota, 2 more this afternoon against the Illini. (40-2) is our score. Ohio State 5 touchdowns in their last 22 offensive plays. Big play on this drive. Smith to Ginn. 52 yards, setting up the Pittman score. ESPN College Football presented by Nokia. So far, the Ohio State Buckeyes have done virtually everything they've wanted to do. 12th ranked team in the country on top of Illinois, 40-2. Last touchdown capped off by an Antonio Pittman 8-yard run, 5 plays, 80 yards. The big playability of those guys right there. Holmes, Ginn, just unmatched anywhere else in the Big Ten here in 2005. Let's go down to the field where Heather Mitz is standing by. Heather?
Thanks, guys. Well, usually at the end of the game, the winning team comes over to claim their trophy. But in this case, sometimes the players don't even see it. That's because the Honorary Society exchanges the Illibuk trophy. Originally, they used a live turtle for longevity, but after only 2 years, he unfortunately passed away. Since then, they use a wooden replica, and this is the 8th, and Ohio State is currently in possession of the Illibuk trophy.
Thank you, Heather. That thing weighs 30 pounds.
Get your little workout passing that day. You got to just get in the weight room in order to pass it over your head.
Started back in 1924. They originally got a turtle, thinking that the turtle would live for 150 years and they'd have the same trophy forever, but the turtle died in a fraternity house bathtub after 2 years. And that's why they have the wooden one. Let's go to an update from Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Eric, let's check out now what's going on with Florida State and North Carolina State. Here's Marcus Stone firing it into the end zone. Hill with the touchdown grab, and the Wolfpack trying to knock off the Seminoles. It's 20-10.
Chuck Amato, he coached for a long time at Bobby Bowden down in Tallahassee. He knows secrets that he's using to his advantage.
That's right. He's how to stop that Florida State offense.
Nice pitch and catch. Pass is complete out at the 40-yard line. That's the freshman Kyle Hudson. Hudson with 2 catches, both of them over 20 yards.
Yeah, he's their go-to guy. High 6'10", high jumper, 4.4 speed. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look the part. 5'11", 165 pounds soaking wet, but he makes plays down the field, and 2 big pass receptions in this football game.
He is a 6'10" high jumper. And I think he only weighs 165 pounds if he has two 10-pound weights in his back pocket. Bracek throws it out, incomplete, short, intended for Rashard Mendenhall.
Bracek all afternoon, just one Ohio State defender after another in his face. And David Peterson has basically lived in the backfield. Dante Whitner there has made plays all over the field. And it's just pick one. They're all living in the backfield of the Illini offense.
Second down at 10. Ohio State hasn't called off the Dogs. They still have a lot of starters in the game defensively. Mendenhall, good change of pace. Tries right side. Gets out across the 45-yard line. Pickup of 4 for the true freshman from Skokie, Illinois, just to the north of Chicago in suburbia.
You know, what's amazing to me, you know, I would pay to see this Ohio State football team play against anybody in the top 5 in the country on any given night, and I guarantee you they beat about more than half of them, or would be one heck of a football game. I'm talking Virginia Tech, USC, Texas, any of them. But you can't, in college football, the system, you can't right or wrong that you had happen early in the season. Right now, they're playing as well as anybody.
Third down at 6. Pass is complete. Fighting for extra yards is the tight end, Melvin Bryant. He's going to be short of the first down. It's going to be about 4th down and 1. You go for it here?
Oh, you have to. I mean, you're down by 38. You got to, you know, you leave it all in the stadium, and you're right around midfield. You got to lace them up and go for it. I think on any point of the field at this point in the football game, you can't get a yard. Guess what? We need to pack it up and go to the house.
Pierre Thomas, the deep back behind Bracek. Thomas fights and has the first down. There's some desire with that run, and that's what Ron Zook wants to see.
Yeah.
10 minutes left in the game, and his guys are still getting after it.
In fairness to Ron Zook, he is playing with an extremely young football team. We talked about it all throughout the show. Just 3 seniors that play and start on this Illini football team. The rest of them, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. So give them some time. True freshmen right there, lining up at wide receiver for the Illini, Kyle Hudson. But you give them some time, get adjusted to this system. They're going to be pretty good for having just gone through the game experience as young players.
Move under the 10-minute mark. Bracek gets it out to Mendenhall. Mendenhall picks up 9 before he's brought down by Mike Kudla, who's had a tremendous game. Let's go back to the studio and Reese Davis.
All right, Eric, Cal and Oregon. Jeff Tedford, Mike Bellotti played a couple of close games. You know, Tedford used to be Bellotti's offensive coordinator, and Tedford decided to give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. 52 yards, he houses it. We are tied in Autzen Stadium at 20.
Thank you so much, Reese. We saw Cal early in the year, and that offense of theirs, when they get it going on all cylinders, they're fantastic.
Can really run the football. Got 2 or 3 tough runners.
Justin Forsett was
unbelievable.
Bracek trying to get away from the tackle of Mike Kudla, and not too many people can. Kudla brings him down. Another sack for the Buckeyes.
Mike Kudla has played as well as anybody. We talk about A.J. Hawk, who certainly had an outstanding football game, but Mike Kudla here from the outside, they line him up at defensive end, taking on the block, gets himself inside. Let me get off me. Let me get to this quarterback and get myself another sack. But boy, just playing tremendous in his pursuit to getting to the football. Mike Kudla may be the MVP of the defense. They certainly have some other outstanding players.
Kudla now with 6.5 sacks on the year. Mendenhall has the ball in space. That space quickly evaporates. You get an opening against Ohio State, unless you make a quick move, they're all over you. Pick up 2, and it's going to bring up a 4th down and 6 for Illinois.
We were talking about the personnel that Ron Zook has, the freshmen and sophomores that he played. Another tough thing is that inheriting another guy's players, when you come in as a new head coach and then trying to mold them and see who fits into my system, where do I have to move this guy? And it takes you takes you a while to get adjusted to that. So give them some time. They'll be fine at Illinois.
On 4th and 6, they elect to punt the football away, and it goes out of the back of the end zone. Ohio State will start on the 20-yard line. Well, more on Mike Kudla. Let's go down to the sideline where Heather Mitz has the story. Heather?
Well, you guys, in 2002, after winning the national championship, most players were on a high. But for Mike Kudla, it was an all-time low. That's because he began bleeding from his eyes and his ears. He lost 52 pounds and didn't feel normal for an entire year. He was diagnosed with Steven Johnson syndrome and anemia. But just when you think that most guys would give up, Mike has fought back. Today, he's having a great game, and he's ending his senior year on a high.
Thank you, Heather. You grab someone's attention when you start talking about bleeding from your eyes.
That's right, eyes and ears. That's a Halloween story or something. That's, wow.
Kudla, a week ago, he had a heck of a play on Lawrence Maroney. On a 4th down, it was a big play. The game was still in doubt, and he was able to stop Maroney for a loss. Justin Zwick is checked into the game at quarterback. He tosses it out to Maurice Wells. And Wells, good gain on 1st down, pickup of 7. Zwick was the starting quarterback beginning of the season. Started the game against Miami, also started against Texas. Lost his job to Troy Smith, but he is a guy who had a pedigree. He was a highly sought-after recruit when he came out of Massillon, Washington High School a number of years ago.
Yeah, and he's came into this game. He's completed 72% of his passes, but you got a guy like Troy Smith roaming the sidelines. It's tough to keep your job. And Troy Smith, we witnessed what he's capable of doing in this Ohio State offense. So it's no discredit to Justin Zwick, but you just happen to play on a team with a guy that can make some plays.
Maurice Wells showing that speed, gets to the edge, gets the 1st down, and then some. Pickup of 7 for the freshman from Jacksonville. Tonight, ESPN has a showdown of 2 of the nation's best teams. The 5th-ranked Hurricanes of Miami traveling to Blacksburg to take on Marcus Vick and the 3rd-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. College football primetime presented by Polaroid on ESPN. That's tonight at 7:45 Eastern.
You haven't had a chance to see Marcus Vick play.
You love him.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you talking about, you would think just from his brother, Michael Vick, that he pulls it down. No, he's waiting it out and makes his reads, gets through his progression. Then, if it's not there, he can really stick it in your back in terms of running the football. Well, he is magical.
Catch is made by Albert Dukes, just a freshman out of Belgrade, Florida. His first catch of the day and his first catch of the season. Yep. 16 yards for Dukes, who is from the same high school as a pretty good receiver by the name of Santonio Holmes.
And he's going to, as the season goes, and going into next year, he's going to get more and more playing time. Guy there, Nick Mango, big All-American center, rated the #2 center in the entire country, only behind Ryan Cook out of New Mexico, big 6'7" center out of New Mexico, who rates ahead of Nick Mango. But Mango is, he is fabulous, makes all the calls along the offensive line for Ohio State.
Eric Haw, his first carry of the day. Haw, a freshman, right here in Columbus, Independence High School, picks up a couple of yards. There's Troy Smith. He will have the rest of the afternoon off. He was sensational.
See, that's when you know you've done a good job. You see the rib pads there just kind of flapping in the back. When you unbuckle those, you're done for the day. You know that you've played well, and it's all over. Just unbuckle them and, hey, sit the helmet down and get you a nice glass of Gatorade.
During your Heisman winning season, when was the earliest you unbuckled the rib pads?
Halftime.
Really?
One game at halftime.
And how many touchdowns did you have on the board at that point?
At 6 1/4.
2nd down at 7. Justin Zwick, same high school as Chris Spielman, throws it across the middle. It is complete. Catch is made. It's another 1st down for Ohio State. This man right there, number 10, Troy Smith, is our Nexium player of the game. 298 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and for good measure, how about using the feet for 55 yards on the ground?
Absolutely amazing. Why couldn't they leave him in there and get those 2 more yards to get him up over 300?
They don't
start him a streak for 300. He's got one going at 200 yards, 4 games in a row.
They're going to say that Derek Harden was just short of 1st down yards. Ohio State has to run for it on 3rd down. Eric Hall runs for the 1st down and a fresh set of downs for the Bucks.
Take a look at Troy Smith doing it through the air. Here's the big out route along deep out to Santonio Holmes that went for a touchdown early in this football game. And then right here, the timing right here, just outside shoulder. Santonio Holmes tapping him down. Then he just goes deep on you to Ted Ginn Jr. Nice little fly route on the outside for his 3rd touchdown of the football game. 10-2 as a starter for this Buckeye football team.
10 must be a magic number because today he completed his last 10 passes in a row.
Where's the number 10?
He's 10-2. Where's number 10? I like that. Okay. What's he going to do next week? Change his number to 11, take it from Anthony Gonzalez?
Boy, they have some weapons.
Now, truth be told, we're talking about how I'm sure Troy Smith and Ohio State would love to have that game back against Texas earlier in the year when Jim Tressel's club fell late to Vince Young. We were talking about how Troy Smith was rusty that game, but there was reason why he was rusty. He was suspended for the first game against Miami and suspended for the bowl game a year ago against in the Alamo Bowl against Alamo Bowl last year against Oklahoma State. Yes, Les Miles in Oklahoma State. He was suspended. He took some improper benefits from a booster, so he kind of shot himself in the foot. It's not like someone punished him for doing something that he didn't do. He was incorrect in taking improper benefits, and that's why he was suspended.
And you know, as a youngster or as an individual, you never know how you're going to affect your teammates. I mean, you're talking about months later and the carryover that it had into this football season, having to sit out that Miami game where, you know, as a quarterback sometimes, or as a football team, the greatest leap you make is from week 1 to week 2 because you have something to look at and you have it to correct. And then him just to show up, he did an outstanding job early in that Texas game and getting them back. They were down 10-0 and came back to take a 16-10 lead.
Zwick throws deep, and Roy Hall is turned around, can't find the football, and it's incomplete.
But, you know, still the rustiness was there, and I tell you, there's no rust anymore. Troy Smith is hitting on all cylinders. That's why I say I would love to see this football team with the weapons that they have on both offense and defense. Ginn Jr. in the return game. They're as talented as any team in the country. I'd take them. I'd love to see them. I'd pay to see them against anybody that's sitting there in the top 5.
What's the thought process here? It's 4th down and 4, 32-yard line. They're going for it.
Well, you know, you're trying to get some backup, some work maybe. Yeah,
I guess the thinking is it's too far to try and kick a field goal. It's kind of pointless to kick a punt. Zwick wants to throw for it. Pass is complete to his tight end. Brandon Smith has it, and he has the first down. Keep talking about elite football being played around the country. Let's take a look at the All-State BCS standings. Ohio State, they're the highest of the 2 lost teams. They're 10 BCS standings released on October 31st.
And you have all these undefeated teams here from 1 down to 5. And you got Penn State that's sitting in there at 7. Miami says talented. Florida State probably going to get beat today by North Carolina State. But I would take Ohio State and you team them up or put them on the field with anybody in that top 10, top 5. And I guarantee you're going to get an outstanding football game. That's why if there's any year where you need an and-1 game or some kind of playoff system, this is the year. Fantastic football being played around the country. You have all those undefeated teams there. They need to play it out and decide it on the field.
Maurice Wells on that carry. Ohio State really has no one to blame here in the Big Ten. Their one loss in Big Ten play was against Penn State. Yeah, that was a game in State College, and Ohio State had an opportunity, and they just didn't get it done. Joe Paterno's team was firing on all cylinders that day.
And those two right there, USC and Texas, undefeated all year, started the season ranked 1 and 2. And not disappointed.
Let's take a look now at our Nokia moment in time. And this is a familiar name to Heisman Trophy Award fans. Howard Hopalong Cassidy, 50 years ago this season, won the Heisman Trophy while playing for the Buckeyes. The Hat Pack making it happen. Actually, he is in the building today. He was honored along with the other members of that 1955 team for the 50th anniversary of the Big Ten Championship. This was actually 5 years ago when his number was retired in 2000. Hopalong Cassidy, one of 5 different Heisman Trophy Award winners that Ohio State has produced.
I'll tell you, it is breathtaking when you go into their facility and you see 6 Heisman Trophy winners there. And no, it's not a mistake. One guy won it 2 times, Archie Griffin. And it is breathtaking when you walk in and you see him lined up. Eddie George is in there as well. But unbelievable the tradition that they have here at Ohio State.
Les Horvath won it in 1944. Vic Janowitz, of course, we just saw Hopalong Cassidy. Eddie George, 1995, and 2 for Archie Griffin. Does Matt Leinart have a chance to win 2 in a row? You giving him his vote?
Well, I'm not ready to vote yet, but I'm going to wait and play it out. I have him right now at leading in the Heisman race on my ballot. But you never know once the season boils down and get ready to turn in that ballot.
Jim Tressel finishing out this game just the way he wants to. This drive has chewed up 7 minutes of the game clock. Looks like Ron Zook's team will not get the football back.
Yeah, you asked me earlier, why go for it on 4th down? You know, those guys work extremely hard in practice, and they want to come in under game-type situations. And to be quite honest, you never know when you're going to have to depend on a guy, and there's no way in practice to simulate game-time reps. So if you can get them in a game, you certainly do so.
Well, that'll do it. Santonio Holmes and the Ohio State Buckeyes, they move to 7-2, 5-1 in Big Ten play. They still have dreams of winning the Big Ten championship. Ohio State defeats Illinois 40-2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Andre Ware and Heather Mitz, I'm Eric Collins saying so long from Columbus. Coming up next is the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura.
Jumbo edition of the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura. Reese Davis alongside Lou Holtz and Mark May. We're taking you up to Miami and Virginia Tech from Blacksburg, 7:45 Eastern time. The whole day has built to that. But Ohio State, Andre Ware talked about it. They've really a 2-loss team, not in the national championship chase, but as talented as anyone in the country, man.
They are, and offensively, finally, they're letting Troy Smith roll around and make plays offensively. That's the problem they had at Penn State that they didn't have him do. But now when he does that, they're more of an efficient offense.
Well, let's give Penn State some credit. They're a great defense football team. But Ohio State is now a complete team. We've known they've had a great defense. But now, as Mark said, their playmakers are making plays, and they're getting ready for Michigan.
And Ohio State, though, not getting any help in the Big Ten against Penn State. Wait till you see the performance the Nittany Lions had. Alabama trying to roll on. We'll get it all for you. Texas rolling double nickels. We're back after this.